All right, good evening and welcome back to another round of Formula Student Sim Racing. It is a brand new season, 2024-2025, but the same old faces. I'm Giles Cosgrove, she's Jess Ball, and he's James Montgomery. And over the next 6 months, we will bring you live coverage of the various rounds of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, supported by the IMECE and, of course, Williams eSports. We've got 57 teams from around the world competing this year, so let's get into it. It's going to be a fantastic season. This is round 1 tonight, and I'm very excited about this because we are going to Croft circuit, and invariably, in the case of the first round of any season, in motorsport, particularly when you're driving, anything can happen. It usually does. There is no knowing who is going to come out strongest. A lot of the teams that we know and love, their members have graduated, so we're rushed with brand new talent, and you never know who could come out on top. So we're going to Croft Circuit tonight. Round 2 will be the Charlotte Speedway, and then we're going on round 3 to a favourite amongst us here in the comms box, Watkins Glen International over in the United States. Then we're going down under. After all, they did win Formula Student UK 2024, did the Aussies, and we're going to the Sydney Motorsport Park for round 4. Round 5 will be from Imola, and at the moment, round 6 is a bit special, a bit secret, so stay tuned, and we'll tell you about that over the coming months. Right now, let's get amongst it. Jess, great to have you with us. Congratulations on your success last week at the Sky Sports Sim Racing. Fantastic stuff. We're cheering you on, cheering Cheryl on, who does the in-vision presenting for us here at Formula Student. Congratulations on that. Are you excited for a brand new season of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series?
Of course, Giles. I've been excited for quite a while now. I've been so excited to get going, and there's so many teams getting involved this year, so many alumni teams too, and it's great that we have a global affair too, not just on the track, but the universities competing as well.
Absolutely, and as always, the man behind the computer, the man making all of this run by the skin of his teeth and by a hair's width, that is James Montgomery. Sir, you've taken the dive off the deep end again. You're running this from an internet cafe this time around, because you've moved out of your childhood home. I mean, well, I'm coming to you from my childhood home because, oddly enough, this weekend lined up with me being at home, so at least one of us is in that childhood bedroom. How are you finding this season shaping up so far? You've got all the behind-the-scenes details. How are you finding it, Monty?
I'm really looking forward to this season, Giles. 57 teams for this season. 41 have returned from last season. 16 brand new teams, including alumni. So it's great to see some of the old students coming back. A lot of new combinations, a couple of new formats as well. I don't really know what to expect this season because the old faces are gone. They graduated. We'll talk more about that in a bit when we go through the entry list, but I really don't know who's going to come out on top this season.
It is wide open, as they say. And talking of wide open, we've got the wide open spaces of the Croft circuit tonight with the mini challenge cars. The conditions on the track are, quote unquote, they're windy, as if there's ever anything else in the UK. And the time that the race is taking place within the simulation is around 10 a.m. with the temperature on track at 22 degrees. Jess, you're an experienced sim racer. What have the drivers got to contend with on the Croft circuit?
Well, Giles, with this Croft circuit, they got to be aware of the tailwind. Of course, it's very windy. I'll have to say the Hawthorne Bend, the drivers have got to be aware of. We got the Jim Clark S's later on in the lap as well. Very, very technical. The Tower Bend too. And we got the hairpin heading towards the final part of the lap as well. But they had a bit of practice during the week and also during the practice session earlier on. And they had a chance to qualify for each servo. More about that in just a minute. Another circuit which is actually a part of ex-airfield in England, of course, 1980s. It was first introduced. Track service has changed since then as well. But the main series that Croft hosts, which I really enjoy, British touring cars, and that's always a good spectacle. But this time, it is the Minis.
It is indeed the Minis, a car I've been a fan of since I grew up watching The Italian Job. The comments are coming in over on the live stream. Do please keep them coming in. Thank you very much to everyone who's been joining us tonight. Apparently, there does seem to be a bit of an issue with the frame rate. Zai says the audio is fine, but it feels like 50% of the frames are dropping, though. We are doing our best to rectify that, as we were saying, coming to you from an internet cafe on the island of Jersey. So we do bear with us. We are trying to make sure that everything sounds as good as possible. Zai also says, Giles, my goat. Nice to hear from you, Zai. Thank you very much. Let's go through these comments, shall we? So we've got plenty of support for the for UOL, Ronk, Samby Jones, William 0007. Meanwhile, Dylan Crawford says, up the lay. Jaden Griffin is supporting Sussex, while Darren Davison says, come on, Lord Top Hat Tyler from Hull A. We love Top Hat Tyler from Hull A, an absolute legend amongst the Formula Student Sim Racing series. Meanwhile, Anastasia, a regular watcher of the series, thank you for joining us again this year. She says, watching from out of London and supporting Queen Mary Formula Student. Big up our drivers Toto and Daniel for this race. Luminenzi says, Bolton. Ben Haley also says, big up the lay. Lane Thay says, come on, Bolton. Ben Haley, bigging up University of Leicester Racing, tops all. And GCU, Glasgow Caledonian University, is where it's at. Says, perfectly named Tatty Potato, because of course, yes, Tatties. Engine Fault Media also saying, big up GCU. So plenty of love for the various teams. Tonight, as you can see, we've got the format that we're used to at the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. We've got qualifying taking place at the moment. There has been a bit of a delay to that. There is a 10-minute additional delay. Some teams weren't entered into qualifying when they should have been. That's being rectified. As a result, there will be a 10-minute delay to proceedings, but not to worry. We've got plenty to cover. This is the first round of the series. Plenty to show you, to get you immersed in what you can expect over the coming months. We'll have the first race at 7 o'clock, maybe 10 past 7 possibly. Qualifying 2 will then take place at around 10 to 8, with the second race of the night taking place at 20 past 8. We'll have interviews with the drivers as well. We'll also be talking about a new feature we're adding to the live broadcast, what we're calling the Formula Student News. So do stick around for that, especially if you are a social media rep for your Formula Student teams. I want a word. So do stick around for that, and we'll have all your reactions coming through in the comments as well. We are attempting to fix the quality of the stream at the moment. Maximilian Dobrowski, what a name. He says, let's go UG Racing. Calvin Bergen saying, big up Staffordshire, best Fortnite and Assetto Corsa players. GTV Archangel says, come on Queen Mary, little orange mini. Andy Farmer, come on Cardiff, back work watching. Calvin Bergen says, Monty, what happened in August 2019? I don't know what Calvin's talking about there, Monty, but clearly he knows something that we don't. But there is plenty of love for Queen Mary coming on the stream as well. One absence I'm noting there on the stream at the moment is Exeter. Not heard from them. They're usually quite vocal. I'm sure they're out there somewhere. Jess, it strikes me as potentially a bit early to be asking for predictions in terms of results at the moment.
I think it is, because, of course, we don't know how the new teams have performed in qualifying. And we've seen last season where we've seen teams that we won't expect to do well in the first round go out there on top. And we saw with Glasgow last season, had a very poor round one, but then was able to improve as the season go on, and they went on to be champions. So just because you don't do well in round one doesn't mean you're going to have a bad season. Things change, things happen, but I think I'm going to predict one of the new teams is going to be up there near the top tonight, just like last season.
I would totally agree. Last year, Vigo came out, trounced everyone in round one, and then seemingly went away for the rest of the season. And I do wonder whether round one may not be the most representative of the way the rest of the season is going to go. And let's talk. We've been name dropping a few teams here, those that are supporting one another. So let's talk about the team, shall we? Monty, I believe
Right, bear with, guys. You can now see me. There we go. Now, hopefully, people can start to see and hear us because I forgot to drop the audio folder into this channel. Right, there we go, guys. Let's try this one again, shall we? So let's just pretend these last 3 minutes haven't happened. So let's go through the teams. Yes, so here we are. Your first team here, guys, is the University of Glasgow. Reigning champions. Glasgow by name, however, they are not by nature this year because the guys who were there for the last 2 seasons are gone. They graduated. They've departed, which means who are we going to miss this year, Giles?
Oh, I'm going to miss Nev's mum, Wendy.
Oh,
I like Nev's mum.
Oh.
Wendy, if you're out there, I miss you.
So, yes, so Glasgow B that we saw last year, that's them promoted. That's them onto the main team now. So, very best of luck to them. We really look forward to seeing what they can do this season. They were really quick, I have to say, in the non-championship round. So that does give me hope that perhaps there's still going to be black and yellow teams at the exactly.
And maybe the alumni team is giving them some tips.
Oh, yes.
I like this.
There we go.
That's cool.
So
that's Southampton.
Yep, that's Southampton, car number 2. They were the runners-up last season. Of course, they were our original champions in the first ever season, and for the last couple of seasons, they've been runners-up. Titanic battles with Glasgow, but unfortunately fallen short at the final hurdle on both occasions. Do we think they can go one better this year now that Glasgow aren't around in their capacity?
With a certain figure in engineering media taking an interest in their car, who knows what's going to happen? More on that in the FS news later on.
Wow.
I like that as well. Yes,
My favourite colours from Bolton there finished in 3rd place as well, and another team that was in the championship pretty much decided when we were Williams eSports last year, this year.
Yep, championship contenders for all the seasons we've taken part in. They were really, really strong last year, and from my understanding, they have all their 1st and 2nd year Formula Student team who are in charge of their engineering challenge projects for the season. Now, I'm really intrigued to see what happens with this because by their own admission, the engineering challenges were their weak points, so that was where they were losing points to the other guys. But apart from perhaps giving them a competitive advantage, I have to say fair play from an inclusive point of view for getting the younger guys involved much, much sooner. Because a lot of people in Formula Student will only ever get the final year students involved. So what a great opportunity to get the younger students in their university involved in Formula Student.
Get up to speed, get them on, and get them going. I must say, if you are a member of Bolton and you want to get into the technicalities of the engineering challenge in the setting of the car, Elise is the person to talk to, and I can say quite confidently I finally got her name right after a year.
Yeah.
Took me long enough. There we go. Meanwhile, here is team number 4, looking lovely there, Monty.
Yes, this is Dublin. So they were our highest finished position from last season of the new teams, College Dublin. So very well deserved for them for getting a top 4 position there, and well, be good to see if they can mix it in with the top 3 on a regular basis this season. Very, very quick drivers, and well, not to promote stereotyping, but coming from Dublin, all of their guys, they know the crack, and they're a great laugh to speak to.
They're also
as well.
used to driving on the right, so maybe they can make use of the right hand of the circuit, whereas everyone else is driving on the left.
Exactly. Now, here was another newcomer which did fantastic last season. University of Vigo from Spain. They won first time out and managed to keep in the top 10 for the whole season they're out. Very, very impressive to see what they could do. Be interesting to see if they can mix it with the top 3 on a regular basis this season as well.
Yes, indeed. Also looking... Oh, I say it looking good. I love this. I really do love this.
Of course
for
you do.
Various reasons.
Of course you do, Giles. Of course you do.
Of course.
Yeah, so you know, at least I'm consistent.
You're consistent with your bias, I'll give you that. So yes, that's Cardiff Racing. They finished 6th last season, so there they are in their glorious red, green and black liveries, as we would expect. University of Hull, now by their standards, a dismal season last year. They were normally in the top 4, but they could only muster 7th last season. Having said that, they've got new drivers for the team this year. Those who were part of the A team last season, we'll see them later on. They are in an alumni entry, so this should be fun to see. But I have to say,
it's a gorgeous livery.
Yes, those colours really do pop, don't they? Now, there's a lot of blue and yellow in the first 10. Come on, guys, get a bit more creative. But this is the last
It's
of
going
the
to be
blue and yellow.
confusing.
It's going to be so
confusing. I'm going to be like, oh, is that Bath? Or is it Bolton? Or I don't know.
I know.
I'm just going to go with I don't know.
Yes, that's probably the safer thing to do. But Bath, they were another new team last season. So to come 8th out of 53 we had last season, mega job by them to regularly get into the top 10. Really looking forward to seeing what they can do this season and if they can mix it in more regularly. Keep an eye out for one of their drivers, Ivan Chan. He was in charge of most of their engineering challenges last season. He turned up for the final round at Williams and won one of the heats. So he's in the main team this season. So whenever you see Chan with Bath, fun should happen.
You do well at Williams, you get promoted. There we go.
There we go.
Queen Mary, they've got a lot of support on the chat and are very distinctive here. We won't be able to miss them.
Definitely
I believe they've been taking part in some go-karting, Jess. Is that right?
Yeah, they have. I think quite a few teams. You put me on the spot there, Giles, because I was trying to get their Instagram up. But Cream Mary, I've seen a lot on their feed recently. It was Team Sport Docklands go-karting. It was towards the end of October, where most people were in doing breeding week on their holidays, and it looked like they had a lot of fun. But next team, we've got the University of Salford, another team that didn't do that bad.
Oh, hang on a minute. I may have made a mistake already, and we're not even gone racing yet. But someone from the official Formula Student UK account has commented on the stream. Just to clarify, the view that Ireland drives on the right is not the official policy standpoint of the Institution of Mechanical Engineers. I thought they drove on the right because they're not.
That's something to include in the bloopers at the end of the season.
Exactly. Good going, Giles. We haven't even started the races yet. So just to clarify, Giles, they drive on the right-hand side in their car because they drive on the left-hand side of the road like us.
I thought they drove on the right-hand side of the road. Why do I think that? Is it because because obviously Ireland's essentially two countries, and I thought because one of them is still part of Europe, they drove on.
Who knows?
Monty, give me the timestamp. I'm looking at clips for bloopers.
There we are. So that's the first blooper. So well done. If people could clip these bloopers from Giles and send them to me after, that'd be much appreciated. Anyway, back to our entry list. So Salford Racing, they have always been a championship protagonist since season 1. Now, by their own admission, they've never been able to commit to the engineering challenge because they were always a small team, which is why last season the points that they got in the end didn't really reflect the performances we saw on track because they were only essentially taking part in half of the competition. So to actually get 10th, having only taken part in half of it, I thought was phenomenal. Jonathan Wheater, we saw him take his final ever win. He's been part of this series ever since we began. He has now graduated, so hopefully he's watching tonight, and very best of luck to those in the team who have taken over. You've got some big shoes to fit there. Another new team from last season, University of Munster, just outside the top 10, so be good to see what they can do this season. Our Irish colleagues who definitely do drive on the left-hand side of the road. University of Strathclyde. This is the second of 3 Glasgow universities who have entered this season. I'm not talking about Glasgow B team either. Watch this space. We're going to talk about that later. But I have to say, Strathclyde, popping livery, reminds me of JJRacing.
Oh, I love the little bit of purple in there as well.
There we are. Now, how about this for quintessentially British?
No. We've got to start studying the national anthem in a minute.
Exactly. So this is the University of Birmingham, guys. So they were one of the top performers in the engineering challenges last year. Races were a bit hit and miss, but their engineering knowledge was absolutely phenomenal. So it'll be interesting to see if the team can master both and get into the top 10 on a regular basis. We'll be looking forward to that. Exeter. Hey. Here we go.
Hey.
I love this. It reminds me of the blower Bentleys back in the 30s at Le Mans, that British racing green, accented excellently, oddly enough, with Exeter. By the gold
interestingly,
trim.
yeah, it is a good colour because do you know what colour the Devon flag is? Green.
Exactly.
So it fits in well. Another team that did, I think, one of the biggest improvers, I would say, because there were many times where they managed to get on in the top 7 for the first time in a while, and there were quite a few times where they got on the podium and scored very consistently as well.
I
We'll
agree.
see how they do this season.
Yep, they even
Also
took a
made
win
a
in
lot of
Kyle
noise
Army as
about it.
well. So, yep, best of luck, Exeter. It'd be great to see if you
Where
can keep up
are
this
Exeter?
momentum.
They've not commented a thing on the chat. I'm really
I
surprised.
don't see them on the entry list for tonight.
Give them time. Give them time. They will turn up at some point, I am sure.
So
Anyway.
they're not here tonight, but they will be there for round 2, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. So next up we have University. It's Queen's Belfast University. Now they were fun to watch last year because they did win a couple of races, and of course, big thank you to these guys because they got us some Sky time on Sky Sports. So yes, there we are. So
With a good old Bernie Collins, and if you haven't read her book, which has a full chapter about her time in Queen's Belfast Formula Student, and which led to her getting the job she has now, then make sure you check it out because it's a really, really good plug.
Absolutely. Now here we go. If Giles can be biased about Cardiff, I'm going to be biased about these guys. I'm an alumni from JJRacing, so and they've entered 2 teams this year. So best of luck, guys. It'd be great to see what you guys can do.
Yes.
UP Racing Alternative Fuels. So this is the first of 2 Portsmouth teams. Officially, they are Portsmouth B, but on the entry list, Portsmouth A are a little bit further down. But yes, another popping livery right there. I'm going to rattle through these, by the way, guys, because we've only got 5 minutes until we're apparently going live on the live stream, so I've just realised we've still got another 40 skins to go through. So just so you guys can see what else. University of York, nice paint. And what a logo. Yes, I'm really approving of this. York also, York, you're quite right, Jess, have 2 teams as well. This is their A team with the darker skin. The B team are predominantly white with the yellows, so we can have a look at them later. De Montfort. Now, I don't know about you guys, but every time I see these colours, it reminds me of a rhubarb and custard.
Yes, absolutely. I was just going to say the exact same thing. Rhubarb and custard sweets.
They do look good, don't they?
Yes. Now, Hong Kong Polytechnic University. Now, we saw them really come alive at the end of last season because they took pole position at Kyle Army and won 3 of the heats in the finals at Williams. So, huge momentum coming into this season, so the best of luck to them, and I guess I should be saying good morning to the Hong Kong guys because they are well ahead of us.
On a Sunday morning.
Exactly.
Tuck into some dim sum and put your foot down.
There we go. Next we have, there's a logo and a half. So this is Trinity St. David. Championship contenders a couple of years ago, but they had a bit of an off season last year, didn't they? We didn't really see much of them apart from James driving around without his lights on. But that aside,
but it turned out to be a glitch. We found out when we were at Williams, it turned out to be a glitch. So
yes.
we couldn't see their lights, but they actually had lights on.
So they say. So yes, there we are. But so new drivers in the team this year. So best of luck, guys. Let's see if this will be your year of redemption. Now look at that for green, Victoria.
Oh yes.
Our friends from Spain, they have been here since the original season, so it's great to see them back for another season. They actually come with 2 teams as well this season, so we'll come on to them later on, but great to see that team growing as well. Aberdeen. Here we go.
Love Aberdeen.
Being led and captained by McScottish this year.
Come on, McScottish.
I love that.
Yes,
that's wonderful.
It's beautiful. And obviously they had a great time in the Formula Students as well. Their ex-lead driver, Rob, is now one of our skin designers. Rob is actually the one who made the skin right here just now, and he's in the background working on the servers just now. So great to have him on board. So thank you, Rob. Thank you so much. Staffordshire Uni Racing. There we are. They need no introduction. Everyone knows who the staffs are.
And they did well in the real life Formula Student for the last few seasons as well. So familiar face.
Absolutely.
Next we've got UCL.
Here we are, University College London.
This. Oh, that's my colours. Right, I'm a fan of this already.
Yeah, they definitely pop. They definitely stand out. Can't wait to see them. And here's another one which really stands out. Manchester.
That's similar to the livery I run on the F1 game.
Well, there you go.
Well, there
right,
we go.
That's my number 1 livery.
Taking inspiration by you. There we go. That's why.
Yeah, they must have.
Now, here is Hull B team.
Yeah, you can see the distinction there, the flip of the white on this one.
Yes, instead of the black. Still looks really nice and pops really nicely, I have to say. Number 28 is Nottingham Trent University. Now, how about that for a load of pink?
I mean, you can't miss
Ooh,
that.
that
And
looks
Lady
beautiful.
Penelope eat your heart out if you're with a certain generation.
There we are. And
Oxford
Oxford
University.
University. Now, I have to say, this surprised me because I thought they finished much higher in the championship than they actually did, because we always saw them qualifying the top 10. But then I look back at the races, and it was very much hit or miss. And who can forget Hungaroring last year when they ran out of fuel leading on the last lap?
Oh, that was
Very
cool.
regularly hitting, I must say, in the case of
We
Oxford
got to
University.
speed this up, Monty. We haven't got long before race 1 starts.
No, you're quite right. So we'll rattle through the rest of them, just trying to give them as much airtime as possible. So Napier, they are car 30. 31 is the second of our Hong Kong University entries. Redbird Racing. They are back for another crack of the whip. So welcome back, guys, and good morning to you. Liverpool John Moores University. Another one that had pace, but the results didn't really materialise last year. So we'll be keeping an eye on them to see what they can do this season. Really am looking forward to this, and the best of luck to them. 33, University Portsmouth Electric, also known as the A team, even though they are 15 positions lower than their counterparts. So like Red Bull and Toro Rosso all over again. 34, University of Stavanger. Our Norwegian colleagues are back.
Hey.
They've been around since the first season as well. So welcome back, guys, and best of luck for the season. Team 35, it's Surtees, also known as Surrey. Now, they only took part in 2 or 3 races last season, but for the ones which they did bother to turn up to, they got top 10 every time. So if they can do a full season, I reckon they're one to look out for.
Fingers crossed. I'm hoping that you can also hear me. I may have dipped out briefly there, but I should be back now. I'm hoping they can still hear me on the stream.
Yes,
Yep,
they
no,
can.
Yep, no, loud and clear. Number 36, Sheffield Hallam University. Welcome back, guys. Great to have you on board again this season. 37, Glasgow B Team. Number 38 is Harriet Watt from Edinburgh. Number 39 is the Polytechnic of Warsaw. Our Polish colleagues are also back for another try. They were fun to watch last season, so I'm really looking forward to seeing if they can get some big results as well. Number 40, it's York B. Number 41
you have to say it that way.
is the last of our returning universities. It's South Bank Racing. We only saw them for 1 race last season, so best of luck to them and hope to see you for the full season. Now, onto our new teams. So first things first, we have a university from Prague. Best of luck to you guys. Great to see what you can do. We also have an Italian university. The University of Florence are here as well. So again, best of luck to you guys as well. Or Firenze. I apologise. I'm going to get told off for my atrocious Italian later, but Florence for all the Anglified people here. Now,
Oh, another Scottish team.
here we go. This is our third Glaswegian university.
Glasgow Caledonian.
Correct.
Yes.
So it's going to be like the old firm watching those 3 go at it. 45, it's the B team for Hertfordshire. 46, it's the B team for Victoria. 47, a warm
back.
welcome
I've
back.
been waiting for this.
Yes,
I've been
welcome
waiting
back.
for this.
Welcome.
From Bristol, University of West of England. I'm really excited to see what they can do in the sim racing, because I think, Monty, do correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time we've actually had them in the sim racing series.
Since the first
they were
season.
there.
Since
They were
the
there for the
first
first
season,
season.
they were here in the first season. They were championship protagonists, and then they've never been back since. So really looking forward to having the team back. So welcome back, guys. It's great to have you again. University of Leicester. Now, the last time these guys were with us, they were broken down on the A34 and made us all late to get to Williams. So hopefully none of that tonight. Welcome back to the series, Leicester. Best of luck. Number 49. Oh dear, I've done it again. I've completely forgotten who this is, and I should know who this is.
I
Hang
will
on, Monty,
check.
give me a sec. We're going to do that for you,
Number
Monty.
14. It's King's College London. We have another London university with us. So welcome to the series, guys, and best
Woohoo!
of luck. University of Edinburgh. Number 50. So another Scottish team. Number
Another
50.
B team coming up.
It's Cardiff this time, number 51. So they have a B team as well. So that's great to see. 52. Now.
Sorry, carry on.
No, quite all right. So, Universidad de Castilla-La
Universidad de
Mancha.
Castilla-La Mancha. Or
You
Manca. I don't know.
Mancha. You said that much better than me, Jess. Yes, so we have another Spanish team. Welcome aboard, guys. Great to have you. 53, it is Sussex. Welcome,
Ooh, that's
welcome.
popping.
That is popping. I quite like those colours. 54 is Oxford B team.
Yep.
55, the University of Greenwich. So the experts who can tell us what the time is will be racing this evening. This should be great fun. 56, it's whole alumni team. So these were the guys we saw in the A team last year. They've come back and set up their own alumni team.
Lovely stuff.
And nice popping colours as well, with a bit of distinction to it as well. And last but not least, rounding us out, the 57th team.
Wow.
All the way from Turkey. And I have no idea how to pronounce the name appropriately. So I'm going to call it OZU Racing.
Let's just say that, because we couldn't say their university. Why not?
Ozu Racing, we'll take that. So those are your 57 teams taking part in the Formula Student Sim Racing Series 24-25. How many of those will we see on the regular in the top server? We're about to find out. We're about to go racing tonight for the first time this year, this season. So do stay with us. Server 1 is live. There have been some comments asking, will we only be able to see Server 1? For the most part, yes, but this year, for the first time, we're planning, do you remember, best laid plans of mice and men and all of that, we are planning to bring you highlights from Server 2 during the race on Server 1. So hopefully we'll be able to bring you a little bit of excitement from what's going on the second server. So do stay with us. Hopefully we'll be able to do that for you. We are going live from Croft with those Mini Coopers in windy conditions, 22 degrees on track, 10 a.m. according to the simulated setup time, so the sun's just rising, and there hopefully you'll be able to see that on your screens, flames jumping out the back of what looks to me to be the University College Dublin car, which is just pitted, and there is Southampton, I think that is, Southampton University Formula Student Team. Brilliant stuff, fantastic, look at that, it looks gorgeous.
It does look beautiful. We do have some new teams that we have not seen before that Monty was just talking about, who qualified in the top server. They just had qualifying, and the top of 25 teams qualified server 1, and all the other teams will go into server 2. And it's nice to see the number 49 car get through into server 1 for the first time, and number 54 as well is also through into server 1.
Some great comments coming through as well. I love this from Look Scottish, simply saying OZU, OZU, the university from Turkey, with the best logo on the entire grid. And I'm not going to lie, totally right. Can only apologise, Agent LTK saying it's still incredibly laggy. And Lane Thay saying FPS is low, frames per second, and Zai talking about the visuals. We're doing our best with this. You might have to cope with it for round 1. Simply because of the circumstances that are out of our control. At least we're live, at least we're with you, and close your eyes and think of it like Radio 5 live coverage if you have to.
So I think we have to be a bit more descriptive in terms of the commentary.
We will do our best. We're here to cater to people from all backgrounds and of all abilities. So you're on board there with Oxford University as they come through Croft. Jess, is Croft a circuit you're familiar with? Have you driven it?
No, I have not driven it at all, but I have seen races on it, and it's usually very, very exciting. They could go side by side through corners, which I do not expect. The drivers have been told to be wary of track limits, and one new thing that has been added to the server this season, just like in some games, they can track limits automatically. If they do gain time on their lap and they're found to have cut a corner, they will get a strike. If they get 3 strikes, they will be penalised.
Fingers crossed and hope for the best in that case. I do like the fact that we do finally have an automated system for that, because it just frees up the stewards who aren't having to deal with track limit infringements every 5 minutes and after the race.
Hungry.
Precisely. I think there was one race last season where the entire running order of who won actually changed as a result of all the penalties that were handed out. So hopefully with an automated system we won't have to do that. So it should be nice and clean, or as clean as we can get with Formula Student teams. We're moments away from going racing. Keep your predictions coming in. Who do you want to win? Who do you think is going to win? I imagine it will be the team that you're supporting. Still to come, we got the Formula Student news later on, and we'll have race 2. And right now we're just waiting to get underway for race 1. Time in the simulation, you're looking at early afternoon. I stand corrected. I had thought that it was 10 o'clock, 1 p.m.
Ooh, Queen Mary on pole position for race 1.
is your lineup then, as Jess has just said: Queen Mary, Formula Student on pole position, Southampton in second, University College Dublin following that up in fourth, Cardiff University with Aaron Farmer behind the wheel there in fourth, and there we go, back-to-back teams that we're myself and Monty familiar with. There's Hertfordshire A team in fifth, Oxford University.
Not quite.
I'm sorry, I do apologise. That's Queen's University Belfast. I've misread an O as a Q. As Queen's University Belfast in sixth.
Nope. Hart. Okay, this is going to get really confusing with the coding. We're going to have to get a bit clever on this. Hertz A is actually home because they go by Hertz Racing.
Right. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So it's Hull. Then it's. I've got the list, so it's all good.
Yeah.
That's
So Hull are Hertz because that's their name, because apparently they like to make our brain hurt.
That's going to be confusing.
That's because they like to make our brain hurt. So
yeah, especially in the first race.
But Hertfordshire are UH Racing.
Let's go through the rest of the grid.
Vigo, so there's Queen University in Belfast in sixth, Vigo in seventh, Hong Kong Polytechnic in eighth, Munster in ninth, Bolton in 10th, and shock of all shocks, the Glasgow A team down in 11th. Wow, that's unexpected.
I was not expecting that.
FRT are there in 12th, York B are in 13th, Oxford University, as I was saying, they're back down in 14th, 15th, they've got Bath there, Salford in 15th, 16th, I should say, University of Leicester there in 17th, UHA are in 18th, and VITMR Victoria are there in 19th, and rounding us out.
We've got six more teams, Giles.
Wow, we've got a lot more teams. We've got CULS in.
Hold on, I'll get those teams. So 42 is
Prague.
the Prague team. Oh, that's good to see them in the top server. I love it.
Prague in 20th, then Oxford University B team in 21st, KCL in 22nd.
King's College London.
That is indeed King's College London in 22nd, and we've got a couple of other teams there. The lights are about to go, though, I think. We're not far away from going racing, so do stand by.
So,
the refs are beginning to go up. The pressure is mounting inside those cockpits, inside those sim rigs.
We've got 46, 45, and 21 rounding out the grid, including University of Wales Trinity St David.
They're at the back of the grid. Disappointment for the Welsh team there. So minutes away from racing.
Don't forget there are one driver entries for some teams, so they will have to start at the back of the grid by reverse championship order. So some of them are one driver entries.
Trinity St David are a one driver entry. Let's see what they can do then, because I'm fairly certain that team's got the precedent to be pushing up the grid. Talking of up the grid, on pole position for the first time this season, it's Queen Mary Formula Student side by side with the Southampton Formula Student team. They will be taking the cars to corner one for the first time this season. The Rebs bouncing up and down, the teams getting ready to go racing for the first time this season around Croft. Mini Coopers in the wind and the sunshine. It's 22 degrees track temperature. It could be carnage, it could be clean. It is wide open for the first round of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series 2024-2025, brought to you by the IMECI and Williams eSports. 4 jokers being run in this grid as we stand at the moment. So
I could tell you.
I'll be quick. So Jess, we'll catch up on who's running the jokers in just a second. We've got 6 lights at Croft. The Mini Coopers are ready to go, and they're away, and that's a magnificent start for Queen Mary Formula Student, but an even better start for Southampton, who are side by side with them off the line into turn 1, and Southampton have got the jump on Queen Mary, and they go through. Queen Mary having to Southampton into the lead. Queen Mary having to defend against both College Dublin and Cardiff.
Oh my goodness!
Carnage into the tyre wall in turn 1. We saw it coming. It was inevitable out of the gate. Who's that gone down there? We've got FRT down. We've got CUL down. It's all gone a roll for a lot of teams off the line. The one team who have come out blazing, it is Southampton. Great dust squealing out there. They are really sending it, and they're already half a second ahead of their nearest rivals, Queen Mary.
That is very great to see as well. Don't forget the wind is going to be very tricky. We did say turn 1's going to be very, very huge. And this is huge for Southampton because they're one of the 5 teams to take their joker this evening, as well as College Dublin, Cardiff, Queen Mary, and Hong Kong Polytechnic. So those are the ones doing the jokers. Funnily enough, they're always server 1. So there we go. That makes it easier for us to remember, as we've got Bolton, who's passed MTU up into 8th place. Quite a few movers and shakers happening at the background as well, coming up as well. But Southampton and Queen Mary showing what I think it's a top 4 joker, isn't it? It looks like it.
It does look like it, and that means they've got to make it count. Do it for her. I don't know who her is for Queen Mary, but clearly there's some cause to drive for on the dashboard of the team from London as they chase down the team that swiped the lead from them out of the gate. Southampton filling the windscreen of Queen Mary with smoke there as they lock up into the first 3 turns. Queen Mary desperate to hold on. 0.2 seconds is all that separates them. The wing mirror of Southampton's car is going to be filled with that bright orange Queen Mary car. Cardiff are up into 3rd ahead of University College Dublin. Here comes Queen Mary for the move on the inside of Southampton, and they are swapping paintwork and body panels there, and Queen Mary have managed to get up quite impressively into 1st place.
I do see a bit of Monty on the left-hand side in Queen Mary's livery there in the cockpit, which I find quite funny.
Brilliant stuff then as they get up into the lead. It's really close between the top 4, as Jesse's saying. Cardiff having a look now on Southampton as they lock up through there. Comes Queen Mary, followed by Southampton. Cardiff have got very interesting there with Southampton as they both just managed to hold on to it. But that's invited University College Dublin to take 3rd place off of Cardiff, and the Irish are right in the mix there, and coming up on them as well is Hull.
Yep, so Hull making their way through as we've got side-by-side action happening with Cardiff and UCD headed towards the start-finish straight now then as one of the moves that we're going to see throughout this race. But gap now is 9/10 of a second, separating 1st and 2nd, but turn 1's going to be very interesting. We'll see how much of the curb that they could use. This is very tight heading towards turn 2 and 3, of course. College Dublin could have another look. How are they going to see due to the smoke? It is absolutely crazy, but they're doing a very good job there. We got Hull right on the back of this as well. Vigo a few seconds behind, and they're having a little bit of battle with Pre-University Belfast and Bolton. So great to see that they're all running line astern, some of these guys as well. Dublin is not giving up, Giles.
No, they really are not. They are stuck to the back end of Cardiff like chewing gum on a shoe. You'll notice the drama between Cardiff and Southampton has not only invited College Dublin and Hull up into the mix, but it's allowed Queen Mary to really go away with it. They're 1 second ahead of Southampton. Earlier on it was 0.2 seconds. And now, with Cardiff under pressure from College Dublin, there's a whole 2 seconds between Cardiff and Southampton. So that top 5 is now opening up as a result of that mid-lap drama earlier on. Can Cardiff hold on to that podium with such an aggressive attempt to take the position from them by the University College Dublin?
They're just going side by side everywhere, which is really great to see. Oh, there's a bit of contact between College Dublin and Cardiff.
And I must say, I can understand College Dublin are desperate to get past Cardiff, but they've got to remember that they've got Hull behind them. Meanwhile, here's University of Trinity St David. They started at the back of the grid with a 1-driver penalty. As I was expecting them to, they have mounted a storming charge up through the grid, and they are now in 13th, and they are on the back end of usually our championship protagonist, the University of Glasgow. Their 18 are down in 12th with the Welsh really pushing them. Here comes Oxford University, meanwhile. They're in 18th. They're attempting to get up through there. Victoria are in their sights next.
Yeah, Victoria's not giving up.
Hell.
It is very tight, but look at that. We've got Trinity St David and Glasgow fighting for 12th position. Don't forget, this is pointless. Someone's in the wall.
That's huge. There was a massive accident in the back there, and that's FRT way down. And University of Trinity St David have lost out on that attempt on Glasgow. And FRT went sideways onto the grass, doing nicely the mark were out of the job, and they're down now in 14th. Meanwhile, Trinity St David are up in 13th, really still gunning for Glasgow's 12th position. They're locking up through there, clinging onto the track for dear life with all of these cars. The driver's really ramming it on the ragged edge. And as we saw earlier, there's not a lot separating them between road holding and grass. So this could be really tight in green flags at the moment. This is absolutely fantastic stuff. I've got to say, though, I can't see how long Glasgow can hold on for with this pressure being put onto them by Wales Trinity St David. This is fantastic as they go into another lap, Jess.
Another lap then awaits our drivers, and they can't afford to squabble too much because there's going to be loads of other teams that could be in huge amount of pressure to deliver. Of course, obviously the track conditions very, very hard for these drivers. We're starting with a really, really difficult track, and fair play to them. And we are seeing new teams fighting up there. We're seeing the established teams. We're seeing unexpected teams as well. And we are seeing, obviously, final year teams that are having their first experience of the sim racing series, and they're doing a fantastic job, really setting their expectations high for the rest of the season. Of course, Glasgow, their A team, it's their first time competing in the top team of Formula Students. So they're still getting used to it, but just because they're 12th now doesn't mean they're going to be 12th for the rest of the season. We've seen Glasgow climb up their way before, and they're going to be hungry for it later on.
Talking of hungry, look at this.
Oh, this is going to be insane, as Glasgow had a bit of a
just
moment.
about held it there at Glasgow, and I do wonder, is it a case of fresh talent behind the wheel in Glasgow not quite having the history that the previous drivers had, or are they just being held up by the team from the Czech Republic as Salford are up ahead of them? And you can see Glasgow getting very, very close indeed, and there's a train building up now. You've got the Czech team in 11th, Glasgow right behind them, Trinity St David coming through on the inside of Glasgow. It's neck and neck almost here, but not quite. Glasgow get away with it, and behind them you've got KCL as well, lurking in the background, ready to pick them off if there's a mistake coming. And with the cars this close, a mistake seemingly could well occur.
Yep, and the dirty air may not help them at all. And we've seen the minis in the support series of British Touring cars, and if they're too close, accidents can happen. So they just got to leave plenty of space. Don't go for too many dive bombs, because again, that's where incidents happen. And we get to see our first pit stops coming up very soon, as we're seeing Queen's University Belfast trying to go up the inside of the University of Vigo for 6th place. And of course, we've got Bolton right behind them as well. They're going to close up if those two don't get a move on. You can see quite a bit of dust going on to the circuit as well, so they try to clip the curb very nicely from Queen's University Belfast.
There's
Is they going to have a look?
There's a gap there, floor it. Come on Belfast, put your
the
foot
power
down.
down.
This is fantastic. This is why minis are so great, because regardless of what era they come from, whether they're the originals from the 60s, right, or the modern versions, they drive like go-karts, and we are seeing some great foot to the floor racing action across the grid now.
Boy, gonna hit
Queen Mary go down the inside on Vigo. Can they make it work into the start-finish straight? Vigo get away with it just about, but they do, as Jesse said, have to start thinking about their pit strategy. This is exciting stuff right out of the gate for the first race of the season.
We're seeing Salford dropping down into 14th, so not sure what's happened with them, but I think if I were... Maybe it might be contact, but if I were a driver that's in the traffic right now, think about doing your pit stop early, because then you could have some clear air, try and set some fast lap time, and then towards the end of the race, when they go and pit, you're going to have a huge undercut on them, and you might have a gap. So that's what these teams got to think about. Or will the overcut work? It's hard to tell around this circuit, but they had a bit of practice time. The number 15 trying to go for a move. That's Queen's University Belfast, and they made the move stick, but Vigo's still giving up.
Vigo are not having any of it. They've already deprived the United Kingdom of one victory in the Euros, and they might want to try it again.
Oh, not that again.
I'm still not over that, Jess. I will never be over that. Meanwhile,
Vigo's made a mistake.
And they've gone well wide. They've locked up. They've gone wide. Have Vigo, and that has sent them way down into 9th as Munster and Queen's University Belfast both take use of that, with Bolton up into 6th, Munster in 7th. Queen's University Belfast up into 8th, ahead of Vigo. After all of that, Vigo still mounting a comeback though. They managed to scramble back onto the tarmac, put their foot down, and they are right back in the mix with Queen's University Belfast now having to go on the defensive against the team they were fighting so hard to pass in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very, very tricky indeed, but we could see Vigo is not going to give up without a fight. Neither is Glasgow or any other team as well. We've got FRT that's passed Oxford. We're seeing the Czech University team dropping down a position from Victoria. I believe we've got our first pit stop. That's King's College London in the pit lane. And we got the number 54, Oxford University. We've got King's College London in the pits. They're testing our code knowledge. I did do a bit of studying before the stream, don't worry. So there they come out.
It's quite disconcerting watching them drive through each other in the pit lane. You're half expecting an accident to occur, of course, in the pit lane, so they are free of that concern. Meanwhile, up ahead, we've got Bolton and Vigo dicing it out yet again. Bolton have been overtaken by Vigo. Vigo up into 8th now. And oddly enough, there's a fairly significant gap. 0.7 seconds has opened up between Bolton and Vigo. So something has gone on there. It's opening up even further now. It's over a second. What has happened there to send Bolton that far down? Queen's University Belfast have also suffered under the hands of Vigo, who are mounting a massive comeback off that off. They went wide and they are seemingly making up for it in a big way, really pushing it now as the teams from Bolton and Queen's University Belfast are caught napping. The determination of the Spaniards really pushing it are Vigo now, but they haven't quite made it stick. They're still under a lot of pressure, and Queen's Belfast go through again. Meanwhile, into the pits comes University College Dublin.
One of the early top 10s to come into the pit lane then for their first stop. So it's just halfway through into this race, and that's what we're all going to see for race 2 later on. So that's going to put them up position for now, but are they going to come out in traffic or clear air? Well, they are going to come out just behind the number 46, in front of the 40s, behind the 46. So they're not in clear air at all. That's not good for them.
That pit exit is really difficult to get right because, of course, you're entering out. And if you want to go into clean air, you're going onto the racing line, you haven't brought yourself back up to speed. Watch this now with Bath as they try and enter the track. You've got the racing line straight out of the exit. But then, of course, you've got the track limits on a very hard track limit because it's automated now. So you've got a choice, and you end up coming together with cars that are somewhat faster, and Bath there battling out with Oxford University, with the University of Leicester watching and waiting in the wings. So that pit exit, very, very difficult. Yes. Great view from the bonnet of the University of Leicester. Bolton back up into 7th now, going through on Vigo.
Oh, no, they're not. Someone spun. Trinity said David has had a bit of a spin.
Oh, no. Absolutely gutting for the Welsh. They were really going for it. They're back down in 13th where they were 5 minutes ago. We've got 11 minutes of racing now on the clock as I've got it here. Queen Mary Formula Student into the pits. Your race leaders are now down in 3rd. Southampton into 1st and Cardiff up into 2nd. Waiting for that fresh rubber to go on. And they'll be back out very shortly. What position will they go out in is the question. Bolton is the next car they've got to contend with. Can they get their foot down? Bolton go through. Track limits is the question at this point, though, and I think that might be okay because, of course, you've got to remember that the automated system is looking for gains made through track limits, so I think they should be all right.
Yeah, they should be all right as long as they don't have a really fast sector 1. Hertfordshire actually up into 3rd. I do believe they pitted as not Hertfordshire, Hull. They're going to get
caught by that couple
we're going to get caught. It is Hull A team. That undercut has worked well, so I'm expecting every day as the number Queen's Mary out of the 2 Irish teams going for it. Oh, this is great to see, Giles.
Queen Mary's from London, but that's Queen's University Belfast and Queen Mary Formula Student battling it out.
Yeah, there we go. I always get confused. Queen Mary's from London. Sorry.
With Queen Mary having a fantastic exit from the pit, really dicing it out there with Queen's University Belfast. Vigo also waiting in the wings yet again to carry on their duel with Queen's University Belfast team. Southampton currently in the lead. Are they going to pit? No, they're not. Have they already pitted? I wish I could tell you. Meanwhile, Cardiff are down in 2nd with a gap of 2.9 seconds. Well held. These tight teams at the top are running their jokers, so they need to make sure this race counts so they're not wasting their jokers too early in the season. Here comes Hertfordshire in 3rd with Munster in 4th. Bolton following behind in 5th, under pressure, beginning to mount from Queen's Mary Formula Student. But don't worry about that, says Bolton. I'm going to go get some fresh rubber. They're in the pits. And through goes Queen Mary, followed by Queen's Belfast and, of course, Bolton in the pits with Vigo going through on them now.
Do you want to know who pitted? Who's still yet to pit?
That would be great, Jess.
So we've got the Southampton still yet to pit, Cardiff, Hull A. I thought they pitted, but they didn't. MTU, Croft University Belfast, and Vigo, and also Oxford University Team A still yet to pit. Everyone else has done their mandatory, well, it's not mandatory, but they've done their pit stops, so we're going to keep an eye on them, but we'll see if
Cardiff, I think Cardiff are waiting for Southampton. If you look at the gap, there's a 9-second gap between Cardiff and Hull A.
Yes.
But meanwhile, there's only a 3-second gap between Southampton and Cardiff. So if Cardiff wait for Hull to go in, they can match up with them. They've still got that buffer between them and the car in third. So this is going to be really quite interesting. Right now, let's get some highlights of what's going on over in Server 2. James, what have you got for us?
Well, it's been a fantastic race so far. It's been very much like Noah's Ark. It's been the animals-led 2x2. There's only been pairs racing as far as it has gone. So far, the dominant force have been Staffordshire University, closely followed by Manchester University, the Stingers. Biggest gainers, however, have been University of Portsmouth A team, who started 20th place currently with some pit stops going on. They are in third position, so they've done fantastically to climb up. Biggest losers at the moment have been USM, our Strathclyde, our Scottish team. Unfortunately, they started down in 11th position and are currently fighting at the bottom at 20th position. Closely followed by Aberdeen, the other Scottish team as well.
Oh.
But overall, it has been a very, very competitive race with a lot of fantastic overtaking, a lot of very clean driving, bit of chaos at the start, but these are students racing, of course. We can't always expect them to be fantastic.
We've had much the same up in Server 1. James, thank you ever so much for that. We'll look forward to catching up with the final results over in Server 2. There's clearly plenty of drama going on in there at the moment. Meanwhile, here on Server 1, you're watching your race leaders. It's the University of Southampton. They are leading Cardiff University by nearly 4 seconds. They've opened that gap up and they go into the pits. Now, will Cardiff follow suit, or are you going to see a streak of red and green going past on the right of your screens? Surely Cardiff must come in as well. No, Cardiff go through. Cardiff are chancing it on putting that buffer against them and Southampton. It's a bold strategy from the Welsh side. Southampton come back out in second. They made that work. They had the buffer between themselves and the third place team, Hull A. You were on board with the fourth place team, Queen Mary. But the big drama of the pit stops is that the second place team, Cardiff, decided to chance on it, take the lead. They've yet to pit. What can Cardiff do? They've got a 9-second lead now, nearly 10 seconds between themselves and Southampton. Hull A closing the gap right on Southampton. So Southampton have got to consider the traffic behind them. And Cardiff has really just got to put their foot down. They must pit in the next lap, Jess, surely.
They must, because we don't want to have an Oxford situation where they run out of fuel at the end. That'll be absolutely heartbreaking. But we've seen a mixture of strategies where the undercut worked, and we see strategies where the overcut worked, and that's because some people came out in clean air, some people came out in traffic, and if you're in traffic, you're going to lose a lot of time. And Southampton, it really benefited from it because everyone else came out in traffic and they were able to streak well ahead. They had some clear air before the pit stops, and that was a really well-timed strategy from them, because obviously former student, it's not just about the racing, it's about the engineering and also about the strategy, because that's what they got to do in the real world. If they get signed and then they come. Cardiff's in, they're not chancing it.
On Aaron Farmer driving for Cardiff University, all race leaders, the gap on the timing screens, 9.8 seconds between them and the second place team, Southampton. Southampton under pressure from Hertfordshire and Queen Mary behind them. A very short stop for Cardiff, but unfortunately they come out into traffic and they are behind Southampton. Southampton still leading with Queen Mary on the approach now. A very, very short stop for the Welsh side. Is that going to still see them through to the end of the race, Jess?
We'll have to wait and see. We'll keep an eye on fuel, of course. I wonder if they just took tyres rather than fuel, or the other way around. I'm sure we will have more information. So surely someone from Cardiff in the chat could give head or tail a bit as to what could have happened, or maybe maybe their pit stop was very clean and we don't time it very well. But
I can offer a bit of information if you want, guys.
Okay, Monty.
Yeah, okay, so Queensmary were by far the longest pit stop of those three. I suspect Queensmary have gone for fresh tyres. The other two are going to gamble it on their old tyres and get track position. So I reckon if that's the case, Queenmary are on a hunt now with fresh tyres.
Salvatore has just confirmed that as well, Monty. Southampton hasn't changed tyres. That's why they are so far ahead to Salvatore. So all eyes now on Queen Mary as they've got 3.5 minutes of racing to go on fresh tyres. You can see the benefits that's having on them. They're locking up far less than the teams ahead of them. Aaron Farmer for Cardiff locking up dramatically ahead. There's a gap of about 1.5 seconds, closing up dramatically here into this tight left-hander onto the start-finish straight. And can Queen Mary make it work? They've taken on fuel and tyres. Southampton and Cardiff are splash and dash, and their tyres are degrading as the seconds tick away. It's up to Queen Mary now to make it work for them. These teams all running jokers, I think, Jess. Am I right there?
Southampton's running a joker, Queen Mary's running a joker, and University of College Dublin is running a joker. I think Cardiff are as well, but I will double check. Yes, they're running a joker. So we've got a top four joker, Giles.
These teams have really got to make this count, and there's a 1 second gap between Cardiff and Queen Mary, a 3 second gap between Cardiff and Southampton. They've got traffic in between them. That's Victoria ahead of Cardiff. They've got to get through that. There are no blue flags in this series, so Victoria can race through Cardiff, but Victoria getting well out of the way of the Welsh side for them.
They're left down, okay.
They've not made it easy for Queen Mary. Queen Mary having to go wide off the track limits to get around them, and as a result that's allowed Cardiff to open up the gap between them. I'm very thankful for that. The gap now, as I've got it there, about 1.52 seconds now, 2.5 minutes of racing or just under. Meanwhile, here's Queen's University Belfast putting the pressure on the Glasgow A team.
Glasgow 18 moving up into 10th place, so they've gained quite a few positions in this race so far. Not involved in too much trouble so far, which is really great to see from them. And the more experience they get, of course, the more that they'll be able to improve throughout the season. We've seen that with many teams before. Queen's University Belfast trying to squeeze past Glasgow, but couldn't quite do it. Moves over to the right-hand side. Glasgow tries to use a lot of the curve on the left-hand side. Now they're going to a really tricky tight bend coming up. It's called a bend for a reason, and the smoke as well, and the visibility is going to be very tricky for these drivers. They've got a few more corners to go before they start the next lap, and surely turn one's going to be the prime opportunity to go for a move. We can see Queen Mary getting past Cardiff up front, up into second place, and then Cardiff swap positions once again, so there must have been a huge battle up front for the top few positions.
Cardiff trying to hold on to second place against superior tyres. It does now come down to the defensive driving of Aaron Farmer. This is going to be the last lap, a minute on the clocks. Can Cardiff hold on to second place as Queen Mary piles on the pressure with that fresh rubber going through on the inside? They've got that slam dunk, signed, sealed, delivered. It's yours, Queen Mary. They go through into second. Have Cardiff got a reply? 50 seconds or just under to go. I don't think so with that old tyres on the car from Cardiff. I think they might have to settle for third, surely, Jess.
Yeah, they might have to, because it's better getting a podium than scrapping for second with old tyres and maybe potentially binning it as well. But they do have a nice buffer. The only car they have behind them is a lapped car, so they may want to play it safe.
If they can still get through over the line, they're going to have another lap to go before the clocks run out. So there's another lap that Aaron could still make it up on Queen Mary, but I wouldn't hold my breath. They're pulling away. And
that's
pulling
Czech.
Away. That's the Czech team and Bath both going well wide onto the grass there. Some of these teams, I imagine, have all been doing splash and dash. Their tyres wear out now, and they're losing grip, ending up in the grass.
Because they want to have enough fuel to get to the end, so that's why some of them wanted to pit a little bit later. Oxford has stayed out, but don't forget there's no mandatory pit stops in this series, so if your fuel could get to the end, well, fair play, but they're all the way down in 22nd place, so a lot of work to do for them in this final lap. Of course, the gap now between Southampton and Queen Mary, 4.8 seconds, but Southampton have done a really great job to keep under pressure. Of course, what about last season? Vigo in 7th position. They've been chased down by the third place team for last season, Bolton, as Cardiff almost had a little bit of interpretation of track limits there. We'll gloss over that.
Southampton, though, are in the lead firmly with a gap of nearly 5 seconds between them and the second place car, Queen Mary. They have only taken on fuel, they haven't taken on tyres, they've taken on the entire grid, and they have come through, and they know it, weaving towards the checkered flag. Your winners of the first race of the season, it's Southampton who take the win, followed by Queen Mary Formula Student with Cardiff Racing coming over the line in third, with University College Dublin in fourth, and the Hull A team rounding out your top 5. And there's Munster coming behind them in sixth. What a race, Jess. That's been fantastic. And here come the Spaniards as well. They've been brilliant to watch throughout the entire race. There is Vigo and Bolton behind them closing up. Not to mention KCL in 19th. Queen's University Belfast. They've been magnificent to watch throughout this race. They come across the line in 10th. The University of Glasgow Racing 18 managing to hold on to a top 10 finish. York B coming over the line in 12th. FRT in 13th. Salford in 14th. Oxford University's B team outdoing their A team with a 14th position.
Fair play.
It's Bath, the Czech team, crossing the line in 17th. Victoria in 18th and 19th is Hong Kong Polytechnic. Really gutted for the University of World Trinity St David. We know they can do better. Inherited by a one driver limit, they did climb up the running order and then they fell back down it again. Gutted for those guys.
Yep, it is a bit annoying, of course. One driver entries can't be helped. There were quite a few one driver entries last minute too, so they didn't have that much pressure. They'll have to do 2 races. Race 1, they won't lose that much points for round 1, but if they have a one driver entry in round 2, that's going to be a huge issue for them. But Southampton, continuing where they left off from last time, unfortunately missed out on the title last season, but this season they're back with a vengeance. They want to win the whole thing, Giles.
They really, really do. This is going to be a fantastic season to watch. And there have been plenty of comments coming in immediately. Come on, Southampton, says Coyote Adobe. Stags, woohoo, says Sam. Get yeeted, what a great name for the channel, says Big Up Staffs, hoorah. Meanwhile, Zavortex says, big improvement from Queen Mary Formula Student this season. Top 3, here we come. Paul Gabriel Dumont says, yeah, KCL. Camille Schwab says, yes, KCL. Meanwhile, Jally, I love this. Can you ask Aaron if he wants anything from the Lidl? I know exactly the Lidl they're talking about in Cardiff. Aaron, if you want any shopping done, Jally's offering to go.
Can I have some biscuits, please?
Yes, he's after biscuits. So yeah, put your orders in now. Meanwhile, just a big shout out to Top Hat Tyler, Lord Top Hat Tyler. He was the top runner without a joker, as pointed out by Darren Davison. So fantastic stuff there. Let's go, champ, says Darren. It's a fantastic race to kick off the season with Jess and Monty. I thoroughly enjoyed that. What about you guys?
I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. I've been waiting for this forever, and for the majority of the time, they kept it clean. And especially, it was great to see some of the new teams putting on a good show as well. And even though some of them may have not done well tonight, just watch their progression as we go through the season. What do you think, Monty?
Yep, no, I agree with that. There was a strong showing from the London universities for sure, with Queen's Mary there, and also ninth with KCL, their first ever race, and to get a top 10 finish there. Solid effort from both of them there. I think we've got some new teams that are going to upset the established order.
I think we might well do. So there are your top 3 at the moment. That was Southampton in first. In second was Queen Mary, and Cardiff crossing the line in third. But bear in mind, we've still got another 5 rounds before we get to the final. Who will we see taking that top spot at Williams eSports? It was a fantastic event over the summer. If you missed it, you might want to find out what we've got. And well, here's Monty to tell you more.
Hey guys, welcome to the Williams Experience Centre, where we're going to be hosting the final rounds of this season's Formula Student Sim Racing Series in their eSports Centre. I'm joined with Michael Preston, the eSports Chief Engineer for Williams eSports, who's going to be showing us around the facilities. Shall we go?
Yep,
let's go.
So welcome to Grove, home of the Williams Esports Lounge. So here we have some of the simulators that the students are going to get to use for the final round of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. We have the Williams Esports Edition Playseat Formula. We have a Fanatec Direct Drive steering wheel base and a Formula V 2.5 rim. We also have load cell pedals and a 32-inch curved monitor. As you can see, there's 10 rigs here. We also have 10 rigs in the back room as well, so we can have up to 20 people racing in the same race at any given time. In the background, we also have our pro level sim rigs. So these are the sim rigs that our Williams eSports pro drivers would use if they're preparing for events or if they're taking part in events. So this year we've used those for taking part in the Le Mans 24-hour Le Mans virtual series. We've used iterations of those rigs for F1 eSports as well. And we also have a F1 style pit wall, which we use to provide a professional engineering capacity, which I will show you now. So here we have our F1 style pit wall. The first thing you'll notice is the abundance of screens that we have. It seems excessive, but as soon as you start adding onboard telemetry, timing, the screens quickly fill up, especially if you want to be watching the race as well. Like we have a replay from the Le Mans Virtual Series race here. This has capacity for 4 engineers to be working during the races. We also use this for running events in the eSports Lounge as well. So if we're running LAN events or corporate events, then this is somewhere that we can run those events from if we're running session lobbies or doing admin for that kind of stuff as well. On the screen we have Motec open at the moment, so that's a tool that we use to analyse telemetry. So this is something that most of the students in the Formula Student Sim Racing series will have become accustomed to using throughout this year, because Motec natively has the ability to analyse data coming out of Assetto Corsa, the simulator. So that's where there's one real area of crossover between sim racing and real life, is that this is a tool that's used in professional level motorsport, and the students can be using it, getting data from their sim rig at home and learning everything that they'd ever need to do using this software at a racetrack. So here's one of our pro level rigs that our Williams eSports pro drivers would use. As you can tell, there's a bit of a step up in hardware between these and the corporate level simulators that we have over in the rest of the eSports Lounge, and the main differences from this are coming from much heavier braking pedals, the higher forces coming from the direct drive wheelbase 3 screens, so that you can use your peripheral vision a lot more to see the cars around you. Also, the much stiffer chassis for the rig itself. That's necessary to cope with all the forces coming out of the steering wheel base and going through the braking pedal. So the Husingvel Ultimate pedals that we have on this rig are capable of going up to 120 kilos of braking force. So that's capable of matching any or the majority of real racing cars. So
a lot of force.
Yeah, these are a really good tool for professional drivers as well, testing for real-world racing, as well as our drivers in their professional sim racing capacity.
This looks impressive. Dare I ask the cost?
Yeah, so the rig in its totality with the one PC included will put you back about just over 10,000 Great British pounds.
Worth every penny, I'm sure.
Yep, especially when you're looking for those marginal gains.
Absolutely. No, definitely. If it gives you an authentic experience of what you'd feel in the car on the real track, then no, definitely it's there with a purpose.
And welcome back to the comms box here at Formula Student Sim Racing. It's a fantastic facility that Williams eSports have there, and we are really, really proud and very grateful to have them as our series partner for the Formula Student Sim Racing series. It was great to go there over the summer, Jess, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was my first time at the eSports facility at Williams, and I was astounded with the amount of kit they got. It was fantastic to see all the drivers in their element. The drivers enjoyed it, of course. We went to the Williams Museum beforehand as well, and I was amazed with how much cars on show. And the universities, I have to say, were very well behaved. It was very well run as well. HighViz were there to support us with the media stuff as well, and all the Williams staff were on hand to support us with the day-to-day running as well. It was absolutely fantastic. I'm jealous that they had to have a go at the lovely rigs. I want to have a go at those. They look beautiful.
They are very well engineered. They also love how you put a highlight that the students behave themselves. I love how that's unusual. So yeah, that's a fantastic facility that we'll hopefully be going back to. I'm sure, in fact, we will be going back to it later this year for the grand final of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, which will be held in the same week as the live Formula Student event itself. So do stick around. Those top teams will be competing for the overall series victory live from Williams. Will be coming from there as well. So that's something for your diaries later in the summer. Something for your diaries right now is our interview with the winning driver of that first race, Mr. Whittaker from Southampton. We'll be bringing you that as soon as we can get Mr. Whittaker into our virtual commentary box. So do bear with us. If you've got any updates on your teams that you'd like to share with us, do please drop them in the comments on YouTube. We'll be shortly getting to that in a moment. Race 2 to come shortly as well. We'd love to hear from you. Julia saying, show us server 2 highlights. We'll get you those in a bit, Julia. I'll try and make sure that we can tell you who at least has won in server 2 of that first race. So do stick around for that. How are we getting on with getting hold of driver from Southampton, Monty?
So he is apparently here. He's in our comms box just now, but I don't know if he's getting the link to work for his camera. So I don't know. I think I'm set up right. Well,
there he is. I can see him. Can we hear him is the question.
Go on. Nope, can't hear you at all, sir.
Hang on.
He's having a fiddle.
There we go. I think I should
There
be
we
alright.
are.
Hey,
Right.
there we go.
Over to you, Jess.
Yes, but first of all, welcome back and massive congratulations. The first win this season for Southampton. It looks like you want to go for the title. How does it feel to get the first win on the board this season?
Well, we joke it, so ideally that's where we should be winning as well, and it's nice to carry on a little bit from how we left off last year.
Yes, it was very interesting that you chose your Joker in the first round. Of course, you had many options. What made you pick Croft out of all the other tracks we've got on the calendar?
Wasn't sure about overtaking opportunities around this, so here we are with Joker at Croft. And there weren't many overtaking opportunities. I don't think it was quite a bit of warfare trying to get overtakes done. I think, at least on my part, that's how it felt.
Yeah, it showed that the extra pace you had worked, of course. What made you, obviously, you appeared later than anybody else and you saw other teams benefited from the undercut. It showed that potentially that you had clear air towards the end of your stint. Did that really help you when you came in to be ahead of a lot of the teams?
Yeah, we literally just one of our engineers on the video chat, voice chat, pulled me in a lap earlier than we were meant to go, or we were planning to, and I think it literally just pulled us out in front of Bolt and gave me a bit of a fright actually leaving the pit lane there.
that pit lane is scary.
Yeah, you'd imagine they'd do something a bit different to fix that, but hey, at least it's virtual.
Yeah, it is virtual at the end of the day. And how have you and your team been finding the Croft circuit to race in?
I think we found our pace reasonably well early on, but the Queen area have been very quick, so I think we benefited quite a lot from them taking a very different strategy route to us on that race. I think we gained a lot of time in that pit stop, so I think that worked out for us.
Top four were on the Joker tonight, Queen Mary being one of them as well. So yeah, I think that kind of helped you do the way that you did as well. And also, how are you finding the Formula Student process in general as well with the real car? How's your prep coming along? I know it's early days, but how's it going so far?
You'll have to ask the rest of my teammates. They're much more hands-on with that stuff than I am at the moment. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
So you're just doing the sim racing. I like it. So you got
Mostly
your second driver coming to race in. Who have you got driving for the second race?
We got Theo, who's looking quite quick as well. So fingers crossed he can pull through a nice result as well. I think our driver lineup is again quite strong this year, but we are missing Sandeep. So that's shout out to Sandeep if he's listening. I don't know where he's disappeared to. We've not heard from him.
Sandeep's a great driver. We miss him as well. So it sounds like you got a strong lineup overall. Giles, Monty, any questions?
Just a quick context for everyone about who Sandeep is. If you were tuning into the final round at Williams, he was the one driving around with his little helicopter cap on for the whole day. So you could not miss him at all.
It was absolutely iconic. And
I just wondered whether the late strategy for the pit stop was part of the plan and what encouraged you to come in that lap earlier. So you were planning on coming in the same lap as Cardiff, and you instead chose to go earlier, or having then, I must say, overcut the vast majority of the grid. What was the reasoning behind that?
I think they just our engineers on our chat, I think, just found the gap to me to slot into, and it worked out. I think we were planning to go a lap longer.
Talking of a gap to slot into, you actually qualified in second and then got the place immediately off the line. Is that an aggressive right foot? Is that just superior reaction skills? How did you get into first position?
I guess just a good start. There's a lot of wheel spin in these, and or on the alternative side of things, it's very easy to bog it down. So I don't know what happened with Queen Mary. Just a better start on this occasion.
It's paid dividends, especially with the Joker. Congratulations, and thank you for joining us in the box. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
So that is Mr. Whitaker, the first winner of a race here for the Formula Student Sim Racing Series 2024-2025. Plenty more where that came from. We've got another race to come very soon. Qualifying is in progress. We've got, by popular demand, James here with us because we haven't just been running one server, we've been running two. So you might want to know how it went down in server 2. And I can tell you now, here's James with an update, I think.
Hello, everybody. So, as it stood, Stafford were the dominant force at the end of the race, winning by 8 seconds over Sussex at the end of the day. Very, very dominant driving from Bergen there. As I said, Sussex finishing second position, really well done. Started 4th, kept going through the race. Manchester started second, ended up 3rd. Again, the massive improvement through the race. University of Portsmouth A team finishing 17 positions higher than they started. Fourth place. Then you've got a Glasgow Caledonian, lost 2 places. Cardiff B there for you, Giles, finish 3 places up. The Turkish team, I believe, is Ozyegin. Or Oyezgin. I'm gonna get
Ozu. If someone could say how to pronounce that team, that would be lovely.
Thank you, Jess. Then you've got University of La Mancha finishing 11 places higher than they did before.
Wow.
In 8th position. Glasgow B finishing 9th. And rounding out your top 10, you've got the Surtees team finishing 10th.
Sorry.
6 positions lower. Yes, indeed.
It's a little bit disappointing for Surrey, I must say, because in the past they have come up into the top server and done rather well in it. So that's a little bit gutting out of the gate for Surrey. I'm wondering how they'll do in the second race.
Well, if you want to think about how gutting things must be, think about Strathclyde. Again, I'm sorry to mention you again, guys, but our 12th place team in the championship last year finished 20th position.
Oh, jeepers.
Ouch.
Yes,
That's
unfortunately, only second to last above Aberdeen. Unfortunately, there seems to be a trend as well, as the team that finished above them was Edinburgh. So unfortunately, not a good showing from the Scottish universities in this instance. But for more positive reading, fastest lap was achieved by University of Harriet Watt. Well done to Peterson, who got a fastest lap time of a 1:34.31.9 in that race.
Well, that's a bonus point for them, so congratulations to them. Every point counts, right?
And a point for Paul.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Every little helps.
And for
Yes.
highest
As a
climber as
supermarket once
well.
said.
So that's for University of Portsmouth Electric. They would have got a bonus point for 17 places up in Server 2 there. So fair play, guys. That's stonking what's going on there.
What about Server 1? Who is the biggest climber in Server 1, Monty?
That's a good question, Jess. Let's go and have a nose at that. Thank you so much, by the way, James, for giving us an update on there. There's
Always.
There's
I'm
what-
here every week.
Well, we aren't here every week, but do you think
That's
you can
only
come here every
for the
round?
key.
Every month.
I'll see what I can do.
Fantastic. James
Cheers,
squared.
James.
Thank you, James.
No worries. No problem.
Alrighty,
So it looks to me like a jump of what's that? 13 positions for
For King's College London.
is going to be your highest climber there, Jess. That's huge, 13 positions.
Yep, I agree with that. That was a great climb for them. And welcome to the series, King's College. That was a phenomenal drive to watch them do that. So, but top 10 finish and bonus points for the highest climber there.
What about fastest lap?
I'm just having a quick nose to see what we've got
here.
Oh,
Queen Mary 130.1. I think it might be them, but can we scroll down, Monty, to see anyone else's?
Yeah, just having a quick
I doubt it. Nope, it was Queen Mary that got the fastest lap point, and they got pole position as well. So
that's 2 bonus points for Queen Mary and a second position as well in the race. So I tell you what, welcome to the top, Queen Mary. They've definitely been putting in the practice this summer. We've heard about how they've been karting. They even turned up to my charity kart race in September as well. So great representation from the team there. Fantastic.
They've been very active on social media as well. I've seen a lot of posts for them through the last few weeks. They've been showing off quite a lot of who's taking part in Formula Student on Instagram as well, keeping a lot of progress going on for their sim racing as well. It's really great to see, and quite a lot of teams with their progress as well. But I'm sure Giles will allude to that in his feature coming up in a minute.
Yes, it is. This thing that I have coming up, usually between race 1 and race 2, we have a bit of dead air and we end up padding. So I thought, let's turn the padding into padding with a name. So it's time to do what I'm calling the Formula Student News. And to do the news, we need your help. So I now have an email for every person in charge of their team of Formula Students' social medias. And you will be getting an email from me. So please pay attention. I need to hear from you. We need video content to be playing in this section of the live coverage of the sim racing every month. Whether that's an update on what your team's doing, a behind the scenes of your paddock, whether it's talking to specific team members, getting interviews with them. We need to hear from you. We want 3-minute videos, horizontal, please, not vertical. This isn't TikTok. And just bear in mind, if you don't send in your videos, then you can't expect any coverage. And if you turn around and say, well, this team's getting way too much coverage.
Well, they've been sending it.
That's the one sending in the videos. Exactly, Jess. So do please get in touch. I will be sending out emails very soon asking for your first videos for the round in December. Right now, we don't have any videos because, of course, it's a bit early. But what we do have is a meme. I hope I haven't queued that up too early, Monty.
No, it's on their screen right now.
I caught sight of this over on the Staffordshire Uni Instagram page, and I thought it was a work of art. Speed is the only rule, victory is the only law. Staffordshire Sim Racing Round 1 with some great photoshopping of the sim racing team over the heads of the various cast members.
Go on, you're teasing us, Giles. Go on, we want to see it.
I thought it was on the screens. I was reliably informed it was on the screens. Is it not?
I thought it was on the screen.
It was. Okay, apologies. Okay. The stream was a bit delayed on the YouTube end.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, so we're seeing the teams are out there. They're doing these wonderful memes. So there's obviously a lot of activity going on there. There's 8 months until Formula Student. We want to find out what you guys are doing, because if we don't know what you're doing, how can we share the love?
We want to share the love. We want to talk about you guys. Think back in the old days, Top Gear doing the news. We want to talk about your teams, what you're doing, who's sponsoring you, where you've gone, how the testing's been, updates on your powertrain, updates on your aero, updates on your sponsorship. We want to hear from you. So do please keep in touch, get in touch regularly. Those behind the scenes videos, we will play them. They don't have to be works of cinematic art. We're not expecting Citizen Kane, but just something that we can play in this section to talk about the build-up to the main event, the Formula Student event. Also behind the scenes with your sim rigs, because I've started to notice that a lot of teams have got really high-quality sim rigs. I know UE, for instance, have got a really nice-looking sim rig. So if you want to talk us through your sim rigs as well, please get in touch.
If any of you have any sim rigs, let me know. I hope to have a go on them.
I think Jess is going to take sim rigs the same way that some people take Pokemon. She's going to try and catch them all. Anyway, stuff to talk about this month, because we're a bit early, but then again, there is still things to talk about. Exeter have been to Sanctioned UK, the Southwest's premier automotive event. They took their car over to mix with classic supercars and old Formula One cars. They had a great opportunity to show the car off to the wider public, as well as promoting their sponsors to other vendors attending the show. There's some great photos on their Instagram page, X Racing Exeter, with their wonderful British Racing green livery next to some classic old school Formula One teams. Remember the camel livery when they could advertise?
Yeah.
fantastic stuff there. So that was Exeter's racing to Sanctioned UK. Meanwhile, Cardiff Racing, they are extremely happy to announce that their first new paddock after 20 years is now open, and it's been equipped with bigger, better, new equipment, including they've had a free cabinet from Bot UK. So that's wonderful stuff. They're based now on the ground floor of the Trevivic building in the School of Engineering. You can pop in and say hi. It smells clean, which is really unusual for an engineering lab because it hasn't been used yet to the same extent as the old one. The old one really did smell of engine oil. So that's their first new paddock in 20 years with sponsorship from the likes of Bot, who gifted them a new cabinet for all of their tools. Great stuff. You can check it out on their Instagram page. That's going to pay dividends for the team in the coming weeks and months ahead of FS UK. Meanwhile,
if I could just interject quickly, Giles. If I could just interject quickly, so it's not only Cardiff that have got a new premises as well. I have to say that my old university as well, Hertfordshire, for the first time in about, 50, 60 years, their campus seems to have, okay, I'm exaggerating, but they've had a well overdue and very welcome refurbishment and a brand new building built now. So I've not actually been there in person yet, but from my understanding, where the old Learning Resource Centre is at the campus, there was an old building beside there which was used for various different topics. That's all been demolished, and that's now become the new engineering building of the place. Racing, I've seen some of the pictures. It looked very swish. If there's a chance for me to come for a nose there at some point during this academic year, please let me know when's a good time. It would be very nice to go back to my old digging grounds and to see what your new home looks like as well, because probably, as Cardiff have said as well, it must be very nice to walk into somewhere which smells clean and doesn't smell of petrol all the time.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, some of the teams have launched their own internal karting championships. I imagine that's going to pay dividends in finding the top drivers within the teams. Those teams include Queen Mary Formula Student, as well as Glasgow Caledonian up in Scotland. So they've got some internal team rivalries going on with the karting there. We've also got this to talk about, Monty. We were talking about this privately last week, you and I, off the record, but I think it's worth talking about because we were talking in the commentary box all throughout FS UK live from Silverstone, but of course some things happen after we come off air and then they don't get discussed. And there was a fairly big turnout for the books with regards to the results of endurance involving a very notable team. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. So Oxford Brooks, who had done such a phenomenal job performance-wise, were disqualified afterwards. Now, there's been a lot of discussion as to who, what, why, and how.
You're best placed to say this because you're actually on the pit lane, whilst myself and Jess could excuse ourselves because we were in the commentary box and we couldn't see. We were told during the race that they pitted because of punctures and they've done tyre changes, which is quite unusual in the case of Formula Student. Never seen it before myself. And more, it was unusual that it seemed to be only one team picking up these punctures because, of course, all the cars are using the same track and there's not a lot of option when it comes to racing line because the track is only 3 meters wide. So you'd expect if one team's picking up punctures, at least another team would do so as well. It turned out potentially that it wasn't exactly what it was advertised as, maybe.
Yes, no, there was a lot of discussion on this one, which ultimately led to the disqualification. The exact reason was never officially published, from what I can understand, but certainly when you speak to some of the other students, it sounds like because their design incorporated motors within their hubs, in-hub motors, yes. There was a discussion to be had about, well, even if you were to repair a wheel or repair a tyre, is that actually classified now as a puncture? Or is it actually classified as replacing a part on the car, which obviously in endurance racing is forbidden? It created a huge hoo-ha with a couple of teams getting involved. This all started because we had mentioned live on the commentary at the time about how Brooks were in to repair for a puncture. Some of the teams did not enjoy hearing that, and a big old discussion went on from there, which, yes, it looks like the end result of it was that Brooks ended up being disqualified, and that was a contributing factor of it.
Because it did really sway the results
completely
of the overall event, and it was quite the surprise to hear that. And I just wanted to clarify exactly what had gone on, because obviously myself and Jess weren't on the pit lane. But suffice to say, the drama continues well after the fact.
Oh,
It
go on,
does.
Southampton. If you're going to tell us that they told you the issue they had, you can't just leave us in suspense like this with a taste.
It's like a cliffhanger. Go
I
on,
would
tell
love to
us.
talk about Southampton anyway. So Southampton, you can't just drop that and then just run away. So hang on a minute, because I want to talk about Southampton, because they bumped into one of the best engineering broadcasters in the country, because they went to the Engineering Expo at the Birmingham NEC.
Wow.
And they met Guy Martin, who had a look over their car, Southampton car. He glanced his very knowledgeable eye over the car produced by Southampton. And I may or may not have tweeted daily Guy Martin's Twitter account, trying to get the attention of those that run it, because we would love to have Guy Martin come to Formula Student. It makes perfect sense. I really do think he'd love it, and I know for a fact that a lot of us, past and present members of Formula Student, whether you're a competing student at the moment, whether you're an alumni, to have Guy Martin there would be fantastic. So that is my campaign for the year, and I would invite the social media teams of all the Formula Student teams taking part in the sim racing to join us in contacting Guy Martin's team and inviting him to Formula Student UK 2025 at Silverstone. Emails, videos, tweets, all of it. We'd love to have him there. If you can join us together, we can launch a real campaign and hopefully get him there. It'd be great. And if not, no harm done, nothing lost.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, not only do we love Guy Martin, we also love Williams eSports, because they are our series partner for this series. And not only that, they've got their own student racing league. For the first time, you can race for your school or college, and that is the 2024-2025 Student Racing League, brought to you by Williams eSports. Registrations are now open.
They just started last week, in fact, last Wednesday. They raced around Monza and Austria, and there was quite a few teams taking part, and it was good to watch. I was mainly watching because I was keen to find out what Williams eSports were doing, because they are our series partners, and B, two of the commentators there I know really well, so I wanted to support them, and it was really good. They get a bit of coaching, it brings them teamwork, they get good education as well, bringing your esports studies to life through industry experience linked to quite a few qualifications, and you also find a bit more about race engineering and analysis. And they also get to compete at Williams HQ. They have their own land final too, which I'm very jealous at, because it will be on F124.
Yes,
Ooh,
which you
very
are an
nice.
expert definitely on now, just
Yes.
after last week. Now, this competition is huge. And firstly, I have to say a huge thank you to Williams for putting this on, because obviously we're all quite biased towards giving students an opportunity to get involved in STEM. But the one thing which, from an event captain point of view, I've always found, this series which we do is exclusive for Formula Student teams. And we've had so many students reach out to us saying, oh, we don't actually have a Formula Student team, but can we get involved? The problem is, because the other half of our contest is about engineering, and where they're not engineering students, it's not fair for them to be part of it, because they're at a serious disadvantage. Being able to team up with Williams eSports and knowing that they've got contests like this gives university students who may not have an active Formula Student team, college students, even GCSE students who one day may become a Formula Student there was some good English for me, and this gives them
Student squared.
a Formula Student squared, then this gives them a good opportunity to get exposed to what it's like to work in a high pressure environment where you have to make the split second decisions, where you get a chance to set up the car. You're going through the maths, you're going through the science, and going through the data to try and find that competitive advantage.
Yeah.
And so for Williams to be able to host this for a wide group of students, not just uni students, as I say, but for
Right
the
the way
A-level
down to
students.
15,
for the
16-year-olds. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
This ties perfectly into Formula School as well, and so many other initiatives. And I really hope
I
that some
was
of the
gutted when there was only one wet race, and that was one of the Austria races. All the other races they had, it was dry. So
Oh, there we go. But I will be keeping an eye on the races as well to see how these students get on, and I really do hope in the next couple of years as they progress through their education, that we get to see them representing universities in our series as well.
Yes.
Absolutely. It'd be brilliant to see that course to affect that progression through the generations, through the years of education to get here and get well beyond. Because, of course, Formula Student is a prerequisite on the CV of anyone working in Formula One these days. We've got plenty of alumni from this series that have ended up working at various F1 teams, Williams, Red Bull and McLaren, as well as Mercedes, Formula One as well. All of them have got alumni from Formula Student in their ranks. One day, I don't doubt, we'll have a team principal of one of these Formula One teams who got their start in Formula Student. I will say that now, when I've got a little bit of hair left on my head. It might take a while to get there, but by the time I am properly bald, we will have a Formula Student team principal in Formula One.
Bernie Collins for president. You heard it here first.
Bernie Collins.
Bernie Collins for president. I can get behind that, actually. Over on the comments, we've got this from the official Formula Student UK YouTube account. So the big cheese that's watching over all of us, has said this: there will be a prize for whoever can make the successful introduction to Guy Martin. So there's a prize if you can get Guy Martin to FS UK 2025. Meanwhile, Southampton, who were the team that met Guy Martin and started all of this off, they've turned around and said Guy Martin's favourite team right here, with a waving emoji, of course. And then they've also got a bit of gossip going on regarding what happened with Oxford Brooks. And I don't know whether to read it out or not.
I doubt it. If you want to hear about it, look at the chat.
I think that's probably the best thing to say.
Yes.
My hands are clean, and we shall leave it at that. I'm not going down the Macbeth route. Yes, I can. No. Anyway, I'm not just a pretty thing. We've got another race on the way for you, so do get in touch if you're watching from around the world. Who are you watching? Who are you supporting? I must say that is a rough approximation of the direction we want to take the news, but of course we want to make it more streamlined. We want to know exactly what we're talking about rather than viewing it from the socials. So do please get in touch. I'll be sending emails out in the next couple of weeks to teams, asking them for content, asking them for updates that we can talk about next month in December. Get your memes in. We will accept memes as well, because after all, what is student life without memes? Meanwhile, Monty, you put something on my screen to do with tyre balance.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
The two front tyres and the rear left look fine, but I'm a little bit concerned that the bottom right might be under pressure.
So bear with. I am just going to share so everyone can now see what I'm looking at. But this is in the Discord chat just now, guys. So this is shared by Cardiff. This was their tyres at the end of the first race. So their gamble of not swapping for tyres, this is what has happened. And as you can see, that front left took an absolute hammering. You can see that vertical bar there. That is the tyre life. So the front left is empty. So that was basically him running on his rim for the last lap. So kudos for managing to get it over the finish.
How did they do it?
With the sheer grit and determination, I guess. But,
I imagine leaning to the right.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
That's why they kept looking up then.
Yes. That would be it, yeah.
Exactly, that's exactly what happened there. So, that doesn't look fun, McScottish says in the YouTube channel. I concur, because look at that. It's dead. It's at 87 degrees Celsius, about 30 degrees warmer than the other tyres. So, that was just... that had really been used hard, but hey, it got them a podium, so it was definitely worth it, wasn't it?
Points mean prizes.
So exactly. So this is what to expect, guys. So when we talk about those pitting in and putting the new tyres on, was the extra it was in the case of Queen Mary getting second back, but it wasn't quite enough for getting first. So I can't imagine that Southampton's tyre was too dissimilar to this. So
I would like to see Southampton's tyres.
The state of Southampton's tyres come the end of that race would be massively interesting. I would say it wouldn't be Aaron Farmer without some dramatic driving or running the risk of complete disaster. Let's be honest. It's one or the other with Aaron. I'm still interested to know what he got from Lidl in the end. I will be able to bring you race 2 very shortly. Scottish has commented, I am, as ever, supporting myself. Fair enough. I can understand that. Top Hat Tyler has done very well for his team. They're going mad in the comments. So do let us know, who are you supporting? Where are you watching from? GP Alesso said, we had a bit more tread left on the front left, but not far off that. Clearly, that race really putting the cars through their paces and potentially running on the rims were an extra couple of minutes of racing, and I imagine we may well have had tyre failures going on. I'm sure Assetto, of course, is capable of simulating that. I would imagine you might get some more conservative pit strategies from the teams who are watching this and advising their second drivers for the second race as to what to do. So that's going to be quite interesting. Qualifying, I believe, is underway for the second race. The two servers going on there.
Yeah,
meanwhile,
Anastasia
Anastasia
says
says,
putting up
Giles.
the grids just to let you know, so we should be getting some footage in the next 5 minutes. Thank you for your patience, guys. Slight delay because of what happened earlier tonight. So yeah, we've just finished qualifying, setting up the grids. Warm up will be going live in the next 5 minutes.
That is not a
Anastasia
problem.
said, Giles, can you guess who I'm supporting? Anastasia, I might have forgotten.
We might have guessed already.
I might have forgotten who you're supporting, Anastasia. I'm so sorry. I'm going through the stream like a bad at hell trying to find your original. Queen Mary. Anastasia supporting Queen Mary, and I definitely remembered that.
Yeah, we should have remembered that. I think it's good to know about the points that people get for each position. I did have it written down for the classic races, but I can't seem to find it. But you get more points if you qualify for the top server. So if you qualify for the top server, you get points from most positions. But if you qualify for the second server or even the third server in some cases, then the points will be reduced. So it's very crucial for all teams to get the best lap possible in order to score the most points possible. But we have seen teams climb their way up from being top of the second server, but that may mean that getting to the top of the championship may be harder.
We'll see what happens. I must say, some great comments coming in here. GP Alessio says he's on the Southampton side of things. Amy Davis saying, let's go Queen Mary. Salvatore following that up, or Salvatore, I should say, following that up with Talon Amy. Jason just saying, let's go Southampton. Darren G has gone here saying, we, University College Dublin, went for a tyre change strategy, and unfortunately some epic pace from Cardiff on old worn-out tyres, and that we couldn't catch them in time. We'll take P4 though, which just goes to show that sometimes strategy does pair up with driver talent, because to nurse a car into third position with tyres like that does take
It's
some
insane.
skill. Kalen saying, anyone got setup advice? Charlie Chamberlain has replied, Kalen, put all the things into a random number generator. We do not condone that.
I would recommend that.
We don't condone that in the commentary box or as engineers at the IMECI. Meanwhile, Javier has said something in Spanish, I think.
Monty's using Google Translate right now.
Monty, estás feliz como una perdiz. Whatever that means.
That's not that bad pronunciation, Giles.
I do my best, Jess.
Okay. I can explain that one. I was speaking to one of the guys in Victoria the other day, and there was a bit of a confusion, and I was trying to say to them afterwards, okay, everything's sorted. But I ended up putting in my very bad Spanish that, which apparently translates means happy as a clam.
That's about right.
Oh.
Meanwhile, someone else from Victoria just said, Monty, you are the best. Eres el mejor.
Mejor.
Jason Espanol said, let's go Queen Mary. Cara Fox, Queen Mary rules. Southampton, let's go UCD, and then changing that to Southampton. There's a lot of swapping over going on. Some great camaraderie on the chat. We like this. I must say, and I must also remind you that this year we do have a bit more interest from the IMECI than we're used to. And as a result, the chat is actually being watched by a moderator for once. So just bear that in mind. With your
Please keep it safe.
Javier saying, Monty Grande!
Woo!
And Cut Kitch saying, good Spanish. It was perfect Spanish. Well, thank you very much. You want to tell my sister, because she's actually got some qualifications in Spanish and I do not.
Yeah, I think that's sorry, go on.
I just go to Spain on holiday, and then when we go out to a restaurant, my sister has a dairy allergy, so we just have to say sin queso every time we order anything, because she can't have cheese. The best Spanish ever, Monty, said Javier. I was talking about you, Monty, not me. What am I talking about? My Spanish pronunciation is never going to get...
Yeah, Monty's the best out of everybody, so...
Meanwhile, the mysterious Formula student Big Cheese has just commented, what moderator?
With a
That
winky
moderator
face.
right there. But yeah, there we are.
Yeah, for any of the Spanish university students out there, if you are coming to Silverstone next year, make a beeline for me and I'll tell you the story about how I went around the whole of Segovia saying good afternoon to everyone with dire consequences because I wasn't saying good afternoon to them at all.
I dread to think.
Oh my God.
Still to come, we've got race 2 for you. We'll also have an interview with the winner of race 2, wherever they may be. Keep your comments coming.
Predictions.
So at the moment,
we're going live momentarily, guys. Just to let you know, the grids have been set up. We are just waiting for the server to launch. I will be able to get you guys footage in the next 2-3 minutes.
I've just seen a comment in the chat. I've had that when I was on my TikToks as well.
You sound like her. You sound so much like her.
DJ Cara. It's weird. I don't sound like DJ Cara for those of you that say that, but looking at it, I do, because she's like over the top like this, but I'm mainly like this. But
it's Cara Delevingne doing the voice of a DJ, and it went viral on TikTok talking about drum and bass, and then people used that sound and overlaid it with montages of motorsport. So there's a challenge for your teams on social media. Take that sound bit about drum and bass from the GTA game and interlink it with clips from Formula Student, whether that's the sim racing or whether that's the in-person.
Oh my God, I should impersonate that and try and say what she said, and then people could use it.
Perfect. There you go. Either use Jessie's voice or use the original. Make us some videos.
Can you do one of the lines? I don't know what the lines are, and I won't say it on broadcast because some of them are a bit inappropriate.
We're not doing Grand Theft Auto 5 here.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll put it on other stuff, but not here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Jojo Scott, by the way, McScottish's mum. She's watching. She says, "Go McScottish." I'm his mum, so I have to say that. Love you, Jojo.
Oh, we've got our grid for server 1, and guess who's on top? Guess who's on top?
What McScottish has just said, Monty's going to enjoy this top 5 for server 1.
Southampton, P1. P2, number 9, which I can't remember what team they are, so if someone could do that.
For you, coming up in just a second.
That's Queen Mary.
Queen Mary, number 20, number 6, and number 23 are your top 5.
Number 20 is going to be Hong Kong Polytechnic. That's a big up for them. Who was 4th there, Jess?
Number 6. That's Cardiff.
Number 6 is Cardiff. That's brilliant because I don't think that can't be Aaron behind the wheel. So I don't know who's driving for Cardiff.
And 23, number 5. I'm guessing with Scottish's comment. I don't know.
23 is in 5th position. 23 coming to you as soon as my eyes can adjust. That is Aberdeen. That must be McScottish.
Yes!
Fantastic.
This is brilliant.
I would like to put this out now. If McScottish gets a top 5 finish at any point this season, we've got to present him with a pair of tartan trousers at Williams.
I mean, if McScottish comes in as one of the championship contenders, I mean, I'm half Scottish myself. My dad's from Glasgow. I'd be tempted to wear a kilt to the Williams eSports final.
Yes, I think we are seeing.
First time for everything. The question is, should I wear the kilt as the Scots wear it? But that's a question and a decision for another time. We'll be able to bring you live coverage for the second race of round 1 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, live from Croft with Mini Coopers. Coming in just a moment. There's your top 5. We've just had it there. Some of the usual protagonists in race 1, and then some surprises there.
Oh my God! I'm just seeing what's Monty's livery in the server right now.
This is what Formula 1 is missing. Why have we not got Crofty on the back of a car like that in the Formula 1? So this is why Formula Student Sim Racing is just better.
Because Crofty is not as legendary as me, evidently.
Tatty Potato says, if GCU win here, I'm breaking out the kilt. Jason Espanol says, I'm a nurse, BTW, guys. Okay, Jason, thank you very much. University of Leicester Racing says, it is my privilege to announce we are winning it all, says the University of Leicester. Meanwhile, Jojo Scott just says, tartan juice.
Tartan juice.
Meanwhile, Southampton Formula Student Team says, I vote all Scottish and Irish wear kilts to the final.
Oh,
I'll second that.
That sounds into it.
I'll second that.
I second that as well.
I might have to go and find out what tartan I'm supposed to wear, because my surname's Irish, but my dad's Scottish, so I've got no idea.
Ooh,
Guys.
Surrey's in Server A.
There we go. That's more like it, Surrey. I was expecting that from Surrey. I was surprised to see them down in Server 2 earlier on. So this is better from Surrey then.
Fantastic. Welcome back.
And we
Guys.
got number 46 as well. Sorry, Monty.
Guys, I just want to share with you another Easter egg, apparently, on my skin in comparison to everyone else's. If you look just in front of the gear knob of my car, I see Mr. Rob from Aberdeen with a little caption there saying, "Oh, he's watching." Well, apparently from that angle, he's always watching my crotch from that angle. But thanks, Rob. That's nice to know. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoy your present.
Yeah, Robert's the one who made all these liveries. It's not the university. Should we go through the teams that are in the top server then? Because we got quite a few familiar names, but quite a few names that were in server 2 in the last race, but now in server 1.
Well, I'm going to struggle to be able to keep up with them, or as it's just warm up. We may have to wait a minute until they're all lined up on the grid, guys. Otherwise, they're going to jump around on the left.
We could just go through. We could go through some of them. FSTN is hit back as well. That's great to see.
Leo driving Cardiff.
Victoria B team, they are in here as well. That's great to see. Welcome, guys. Surrey as right. Oh, that's both Victorias into the top server.
Nice stuff.
Some more new teams as well. The number 48, the number 45.
Harriet what?
Oh, that's great to see. That's the beauty of having 2 races with 2 different drivers. You may see teams that you may not expect being race 2 top server in the top server. Leicester's back as well.
Yes, welcome back, Leicester. Hopefully you have more luck here than you did on the A34. I guess for anyone who's new to this series, just to let you know why we're seeing different people in this race compared to the first one. So the way that the format works is, as you saw, so we do 2 races tonight. And in between each of those races, there's a qualifying session. Now, there's 49 teams who have qualified, or pre-qualified, I should say, for tonight's race. Now, obviously, 49 cars on the track together is just far, far, far too much. You saw how chaotic it was with 25. So what we do is we do a qualifying session for race 1 and another qualifying session for race 2. The fastest 25 of each qualifying session will go into the top server of their respective race, and everyone else will go into the remaining server, which James has been updating us on. So, the reason we're seeing different people in this one is because they were running in an entirely different qualifying session, the second one, and these, for a better word, were the fastest 25 from that second qualifying session. This is great for them because it means they now have a chance to get the full 50 points, even though they couldn't in the first race if they were in the lower server.
All still to play for then as we go into race 2 of round 1 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. Giles, Jess and Monty in the commentary box with some insight into the second server provided by James throughout as well. We are live from the simulated Croft with the mini challenge cars dating back to 2019 for the layout. Track conditions windy at 22 degrees in the early afternoon. The sun going down, mind you, or at least hovering on the horizons, creating a fair bit of lens flare on the windscreen. That's going to play out with visibility. Not to mention, this track is very harsh on the tyres, as we've seen in race 1. So there's plenty of lockups going on. That smoke also making it quite difficult, as you can see there on the screen just now, especially with nose to tail, as a lot of these things are. It makes it more difficult to judge when you need to go. Not a lot of room to manoeuvre, as the driver from Southampton, Whittaker, was saying. Not a lot of opportunities to overtake cleanly on this track. So therefore, we're in for some very, very exciting racing out of the line here.
Giles, I'd just like to
Southampton,
mention...
Hong Kong Polytechnic, King's College London, all in the mix. Monty?
Yes, we're just going to say, just because for once I get to do this before you, that's both a Hertfordshire and the top server, so haha.
There we go.
We beat Cardiff, haha.
Embarrassingly,
and it's my job to get rid of that bias there. One new team that has done well in server 1 in the first race is back for server 2. King's College London is back to have another go. So it's great to see. I think one of the top rookies, I would say, so far, but getting both of their drivers into server 1, it is no means feat, and there's quite a few other teams that have done that as well. So welcome to Formula Student. Congratulations for those two for getting into Server 1 for at least one of them. The Oxford B team back in Server 1 as well. So that's great to see.
Rather interesting that we've got both Oxford teams in the server here, and they tend to go with different strategies. There's not a unified strategy between the teams there, so it's interesting to see which way this goes. Predictions, please. We've got some new players, we've got some old faces. What are we expecting, Monty and Jess?
I'm expecting, I think, obviously we got Southampton, Cardiff and College Dublin using their jokers. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on them. I think Southampton, with their brilliant start, I'm expecting them to have a really, really good lap time. Queen Mary, I think, could challenge as well. I think we're going to see some different strategies after them seeing what happened in the first race.
I've got to say, I personally think Southampton might well take this again, and I also do think that we'll see a lot of earlier tyre strategies, a lot of earlier, more conservative pit stops.
Could I go through your order?
Let's go through the grid order. Southampton in pole, Queen Mary Formula Student in second, swapping over from the first race. Hong Kong Polytechnic now in third. Cardiff again in fourth. Aberdeen with McScottish in fifth. Queen's University Belfast in sixth. University College Dublin in seventh. In eighth, we've got the A team from Oxford University. Bath.
It's Mr. Tonelli.
Tonelli's
Hey, there we go. Great to see them there.
Bath in ninth. And we've also got Hull 18 in 10th. Bolton in 11th. FRT are there in 12th. In 13th, it is what I think to be Surrey Formula Student team. Vigo in 14th. Victoria in 15th. In 16th, it's the University of
Leicester.
UHA is what that is. And that is that Leicester?
No. It looks like Leicester, but it's not.
Hertfordshire. It's Hertfordshire. That is Hertfordshire.
Sorry, Monty.
Meanwhile, there is Leicester in 17th. In 18th, not having the best round so far, Glasgow A team are in 18th. Oxford University B team in 19th. We're going back to the front of the grid by the looks of things. I think we're going down into King's College London in 20th. There's the second Victoria team in 21st.
What's happening?
Just trying to make our way through the grid.
I think someone's just joined and it's just screwing around my hotkey to go backwards. Let's try that one again. Where were we? Glasgow?
We were down in 21st. We had the second Victoria team in 21st.
I have got the order somewhere. Hang on a second.
It's going through it correctly. It's just the timing sheet isn't going correctly.
Yeah, so we got the number 40.
Leicester.
So we got King's College London, then we got the number 46 in 21st, then we got the number 45 in 22nd, 38 in 23rd, 30 in 24th, and 21 in 25th. I actually got the timings actually. So we've got UHB,
Harriet Watt in 23rd, FSTM in 24th, and University of Washington, since they're bringing up the rear in 25th again. Hopefully they'll have a better outing this time.
Some of them are one driver entries.
Yes, most of these at the back will be one driver entries. I know that for a fact for 20, 21 and 30, 38 as well. These are one driver entry. So some of these drivers at the back are capable of more. They've just been hindered by being a one driver entry. We should see them punching forward towards the front of the grid. So keep your eyes there. 1 minute to go before lights out here for race 2 of round 1. I'm really quite excited for this. This is excellent stuff out of the gate. It's been a fantastic opening to the season. And we've got plenty more where that came from, including the surprise round 6, which is yet to be announced. We're playing our cards close to our chest with that one. That will be announced in due course, but I know it's going to go down very well. It's very exciting to stick around for that. Not to mention, of course, round 7, the grand final, held at Williams eSports, our series sponsors. On the front row, we have the two protagonists from race 1 yet again. We've got Southampton and Queen Mary side by side, swapping positions from the previous line out for race 1. This is race 2 now. Can Queen Mary take the win they couldn't manage in race 1? That is the question. Southampton will be adamant the answer is no. Meanwhile, they're on board with Hong Kong Polytechnic. They're side by side with Cardiff, who are up in 4th yet again. Here come the lights then for race 2 of round 1 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. Live from the virtual Croft, it's Mini Coopers. Here come the lights. We've got 6 lights and up come the revs. We're about to go racing again this evening for the second time. Away we go. And Hong Kong Polytechnic get a brilliant start off the line, vying with the front two teams, trying to get in between the two, trying to go 3 abreast into turn 1. That's never going to work. Southampton have got the better start of the front runners, but Hong Kong Polytechnic gets the best start out of anyone as far as I can tell. Cardiff swamped by Aberdeen, the Scottish getting well into the mix. Oxford also swiped off of the track there. A really crowded start, but it does look cleaner than what we saw earlier. And that is Southampton up in first, Hong Kong Polytechnic dicing with Queen Mary for second position. Cardiff down into fifth, relegated by Scottish from Aberdeen, going on to the right. And there comes Cardiff, we don't have it just yet, clinging onto the apex, sweeping round to the left. Aberdeen are in fourth. Hong Kong Polytechnic had a blinding start, but can't quite make it work. They're swapping body paddles, swapping paint with the team from London. Queen Mary in second, holding on to it. Southampton pulling away now, getting well out of the drama. Almost a second gap between the second and first place cars. Looking up a bit there are all teams. These tires are going to cook like a Sunday roast, I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, with the lockups, it's not going to help them at all, so they've got to be very on the brakes. We've got the University of Bath fighting with Bolton for 8th place, still going side by side there. We've got Hertfordshire and Victoria fighting for 15th and 16th position. Someone's gone off, that's Queen's University Belfast. They were in 11th position, they're down in 12th place. They head towards the final corner. They're under pressure from one of the teams from Victoria there. As we've got Bolton made their way, well, it's dropped the position to B8, but they regained it from FRT. So you ordered in Southampton, Queen Mary, Hong Kong, Aberdeen still in 4th place. We've got UHB who's gained the place from Leicester in 20th position. So great to see them still fighting, all within 10 seconds, which is great to see.
The pack is really bunched up at the moment. Then anything separating any of these drivers, you're on board with Victoria, Queen's University Belfast up ahead of them. They've got just a look on the inside there. Can they make this work? Just a fantastic move, a bit of punting there from Queen Mary against Oxford. They go through, bringing Victoria with them, and that is Oxford's 18, relegated down to 13th. Quite a dramatic and aggressive move from Queen's University Belfast, but then again, I do think it worked. I thought it worked quite well. Queen Mary hunting down the lead up ahead of them. Race winners from race 1, Southampton, determined to make sure their joker counts in this round. Here, meanwhile, is Bolton with a bumper full of Bath. Can they get round the team with a one similar livery is the question. The answer coming to you very shortly. He's getting very swift there, locking up, bit of sidestep from the rear.
Oh, bit of contact for FRT.
FRT bumper to fender there. Didn't brake early enough, and there might be a steward's inquiry into that one if Bolton are so inclined. They don't seem to be fazed by it. I know Bolton are determined to do well. They've entered a team of first and second years, which is really great to see them getting to grips with race engineering early on in their academic careers. Brilliant stuff. Through they go then, round the bollards. The pack really bunched up now. You can see there's only 12 seconds separating the top 15 teams. That's about a second the driver, say, if that. This is a really close run thing. As far as I can tell so far, it's been relatively equal, but there's a few infringements on track limits there from what I can tell. Meanwhile, there's Hong Kong Polytechnic going inside on Queen Mary. Queen Mary go well wide and out of track limits, and they're away. Meanwhile, Cardiff have got ahead of Scottish and Aberdeen. But the most interesting thing there is that Hong Kong are in second place. The Polytechnic University of Hong Kong have taken second from Queen Mary, who will be devastated about that. They've got 20 minutes to do something about it. The question is, can they?
They probably got to think about strategy, maybe thinking about pitting earlier than anyone else. We don't know, but we've seen how Southampton were able to prolong their strategy a little bit, pitting later than quite a lot of people. So it is a bit of a shame for Queen Mary, of course, as we can see. The number 22 fighting with whole 18, and we've got UHB in there as well, side by side. Oh no, sorry, they had a bit of an off.
Their first appearance in the top server for this series, and they are down, deeper and down in 23rd position. FSDM gone past them and sideways
Bolton
across the racing line. That's Bolton. That's a huge deal for a team that we know are capable of great things in the sim racing series, and they've had an absolute disaster. That has Victoria, who are all the way down now.
Oh no, that's not going to be good.
That's not ended well for the Spaniards. Meanwhile, KCL, King's College London, are up in 11th ahead of them. FRT, and they are piling on the pressure now, putting the foot down through this straight. Ahead of them is, of course, 18 Oxford University. The 3 into 1 doesn't mix through here, and FRT go up ahead of Oxford University. King's College London lurking in the background, trying to get through on both of them. Here's the opportunity. Can they make this work? They're side by side with FRT. Oxford ahead, forcing FRT out. Go. They do. Does King's College London, Oxford University are going to feel the pressure from the Londoners. That's going to be their bumper on the fender there, and there's an opportunity there. Diving down the inside goes King's College London as Oxford University go well wide, well off to the team from Oxford.
Thank goodness they didn't hit any of the drivers like we've seen in the final corner from some teams. So they kept the rejoin very, very safe, as we've got Harriet Watts up into 18th spot there as well. The gap in front is starting to increase between Hong Kong and Southampton. So Southampton with the Joker, they're really benefiting from it. Hong Kong, the highest placed non-Joker team, which just goes to show how strong their race pace is with their second driver here tonight, which is really, really amazing to see, of course. And we've got Cardiff now going to be chasing down Queen Mary with a few mistakes they have as well. Obviously, Aberdeen down in 5th.
Cardiff are under a lot of pressure from Aberdeen, Hong Kong.
3 tenths.
Not able to keep up with Southampton, but doing very well. Put some space between them and Queen Mary. You'll see Cardiff with a rear end full of Aberdeen on the screen in the background there. There's Hong Kong Polytechnic locking up through there. These tyres are getting well worn already with 18 minutes of racing to go. Jess and I think we're both in agreement. We're going to be seeing some more conservative pit strategies throughout the remainder of this race. You can expect the pits to be full of cars in about, I'd say, 7 minutes, if that. Between 5 and 7 minutes would be my prediction. You're on board with Aberdeen, Scottish behind the wheel, desperate to get past the Welsh side, with Liam driving for Cardiff. What can Scottish do? We know how good he can be. His mum Jojo is watching. There's talk of tartan trousers if there's a victory here. There's forecast to get past with 17.5 minutes to go. Might be a bit premature to break out the tartan, but I must say the Welsh must be sweating right now. Here, meanwhile, comes Victoria. That's a huge lock up there from one side. I don't know who that was, but there's a lot of smoke coming off the back of them tyres. Victoria piling on the pressure from the 18 from Hertfordshire. Up ahead of them, Oxford University's B team as well, and their A team. The A team and B team from Oxford are going wheel to wheel. Clearly no team orders as they go and take one another out. That's massive.
Beautiful.
Brilliant
that
stuff.
was
Hertfordshire
a beautiful move.
Victoria go through, Oxford A are down, Oxford B managed to hold on to it. Proper racing even between universities now.
It's the inter-team rivalry. Who cares? They're from the same university. Oh, that was a corner cut.
I was going to say, I imagine that would damage the carpet too, in real life. This is tight, isn't it, Jess?
God.
That's a massive crash for Victoria. That's a massive crash. 2 into 1 in that chicane does not go, as we've just seen Victoria hit the wheel and they got spun out in a big way. I do wonder whether, if race damage is set on, Monty, how can Victoria come back from that, or are they going to be a DNF with that much damage on hitting the tyre wall?
Yeah, we've got 50% damage going on these cars at the moment, so that would have been a lot of damage the car sustained there. What I'm going to say is it's a shame that it's yet again Tonelli that's involved in these type of incidents.
Oh, Monty!
He's not wrong. Oxford University's Tonelli causing drama yet again, from what I can tell, and what Monty's just said there. So keep your eyes out for that one, and if you're Oxford University, expect a knock on the door from the stewards later. Meanwhile, up ahead of Oxford is Hertfordshire's A team. They've got, no, they're not ahead of Oxford, sorry. They are in between Bolton and Harriet Watt. We're on board now with the University of Leicester, who are favourites of us here in the commentary box. I remember their car, not this year, but last year, their car they bought at Silverstone was impeccable. I absolutely loved that thing, number 95, and the legendary orange of University of Leicester. And here they are joining us in the sim racing for the first time. They've got up into Server 1. They're hunting down the B team of Hertfordshire. Meanwhile, Queen's University Belfast have been overtaken by Bath. Bath going into 7th with University College Dublin up ahead of them.
This is really packed racing, Giles. I wasn't expecting them to see so packed racing with such a technical circuit, but we're seeing the number 15 having a little bit of a mow of the grass there, but they made a mistake. That's King's College London trying to take advantage of that. There they go, up into 7th place. They gained quite a few places in this race, and I know Bath behind is right on the bumper and wanted to take advantage of the mistake from Queen's University Belfast.
It was very well held by Queen's University Belfast. That wasn't well held, and Bath are going to take full advantage of that, and I imagine King's College London might have something to say to the students about it, given they've just lost the pace because Queen's Belfast...
They may get it back though.
This is just mental racing. Some really nice sideways action from some of these teams who are just holding it, and there's King's College London who've just done the exact same to Bath, and it's all gone wrong, and it's all an absolute disaster.
It's all completely hopeless.
Who've just gone straight through and thought, you know what, I'll leave you to it. Cheers, lads, bye now. And that's just exactly how you do it. That's just, what on earth is going on here between King's College London and Queen's University?
I have no idea.
That's rather an interesting.
That's going to be some beef in the stewards room, I have to say.
I know, this is why I'm
This
glad
is
I
the
just
first
thought about it.
round. I wasn't wanting to have a busy review of protests.
Sorry, Monty.
Unlucky
As we've got our
fella.
first pitters, Queen's University Belfast, they come out.
They have done, and they are now well back in 19th, but as we've said, those conservative pitch strategies were expected given what we've seen previously. Were they in long enough to swap their tyres, though? It felt like quite quick for a tyre change. Meanwhile, here's Oxford University's B team. There's
Hertfordshire
18, hunting down Oxford's 18. They want to be careful here because it's Tonelli behind the wheel, and it's less Formula One and a bit more Mad Max when you're racing with Tonelli, I must say. Can they get close enough on this lap? I don't know. Can they outbrake them through here? They are gaining dramatically. Hertfordshire's 18. I know a certain commentator's heart will be in his mouth here as Tonelli goes wheel to wheel with Hertfordshire A, with Glasgow A bringing up the rear of this 3-pack.
We've got Hong Kong is in. The first of our
indeed.
leaders to come in.
Queen Mary Formula student in Southampton have gone through on them, and Hong Kong, as Jess has just said, are the first of the leaders to take into the pit. Aberdeen following suit, as have University College Dublin. Is that going to pay off for them, do you think, Jess?
Well, we've seen how people staying out help them, but it depends where they come out. If they come out in clear air, they should be absolutely fine. But if they come out in traffic, they're going to be in a whole spot of bother. But I think for some of them, it looked like a longer pit stop, so they'll probably taking tyres as well.
They probably were, and we've seen in the comments that some teams did take on fresh rubber and couldn't keep up with the teams on old tyres, but that might have been to do with the driver as opposed to the strategy. And I do wonder whether some teams are trying to recreate the go long, go hard of Cardiff from race 1, but potentially may not be able to hack it, because driving on essentially a dead tyre is bloody difficult.
Well, we know how Aaron Farmer is, Giles. He could drive on anything.
I must say, you could probably drive on an ice rink. Meanwhile, here is Hong Kong Polytechnic hunting down Hertfordshire's 18, who benefited from staying out a bit longer. They made up the places, but Hong Kong are, we think, on fresh rubber, locking up a bit there and in towards the last few top corners. Can Hong Kong claw their way back up into the top 3 is the question. The gap between Southampton and Queen Mary is now 2 seconds. The gap between Queen Mary and Cardiff is 5. So those 2 top teams then might pit together.
What a send for the number 20.
Might try and stay out. There goes Hong Kong Polytechnic as they go through on University of Hertfordshire's 18. And meanwhile, the Italians are into the pits. FRT take their Mini into the pits. And are they getting fresh rubber on? They must be, because this is longer than a fuel stop. So they're getting fresh tyres. Are they going to mount an assault on the rest of the grid? They are going to attempt to. Meanwhile, Vittoria, the Spaniards, also in. FRT making an exit onto the track. Look out for Aberdeen and King's College London there. Oh, that was just about all right.
That
really,
more than all right.
Tight pit exit, I must say. Right out onto the racing line. Not a lot of options there.
No, I wouldn't want to be racing with that tight pit exit. I would, if I were them, probably just take it a bit more cautious, just keep an eye on the drivers around you just to see if they don't get caught in the racing line. But you want to be ahead of them. You are a racer at heart, and for the ones who yet to make their stop, they're probably going to keep an eye on it. Luckily, they had an eye on what happened in the first race, so some of them are probably taking it a bit more cautious than what we saw in race 1 in pit entry and exit.
God, this is tight, Jess. This really is tight. You're on board with Bolton at the moment. Ahead of them, University of Glasgow A team, and ahead of them is Hertfordshire's A team, and Hertfordshire locking up dramatically ahead of these two. And I just think these tyres are really beginning to go away now, and I can't help but think we're going to start seeing the pits coming into use thick and fast. We've seen half the grid, as I see it, have pitted, but maybe two-thirds, maybe a third's coming. They're talking of it. Bolton are into the pits now. These tyres are just beginning to hit dead life. I don't think there's a lot left in these tyres, just. No,
with 9 minutes to go, surely they got to take some risks. Do they think they can get to the end of these tyres? That looked less.
That's like a splash and dash.
Yeah, it was just fuel. It looked a pretty short stop for Bolton, which puts them down into P13. So we'll keep an eye on the lap times, see what they could do. And KCR, I believe that they pitted recently, and I know they went on to fresh rubber. So we'll see how fresh rubber compares to ones on older rubber. And the answer to that, well, oh, what happened there? We thought they went off the track, but they're fine. They're fine.
We're panicking here about tyres, James. How's it going over in Server 2?
Wow.
Jack in the beanstalk territory when it comes to climbing. Wow. That is...
Oh, some teams got off. That's Oxford. Tonelli's off.
Well out. Tonelli shown potentially the door there by another team who've gone through. James, how do you think it's going to play out towards the end of the race for Server 2? Do you reckon your grid positions have settled, or do you reckon there's still a bit of racing to go? Please do. Can't wait to hear more about that.
James, can I throw in a quick question for you? For context, guys, you may remember that James was the only one that drove around with his lights off in Kyalami last year. His explanation was because it was daytime for him whilst it was nighttime for everyone else. I'm just looking at the live stream. It's winter in his series, in his server just now, whereas it's 22 degrees and hot for us. What the hell's going on with your computer?
Brilliant.
Apparently they can't hear you.
That's such a James answer.
Love you, James. We'll catch you soon. Meanwhile, you're on board with Queen Mary, Formula student, who, as luck would have it, are back into second position. They have got 0.8 seconds between themselves and that first place they so desperately want. They had to settle for second in race 1. Can they do one better this time around? 5 minutes to go. Meanwhile, here is Oxford University's B team, who are up in 13th position, I should say, doing rather well, because as far as I can tell, they've outdone their A team. So take from that what you will. They are going bumper to bumper now with Glasgow's A team, with Bolton lurking in the wings there. Bolton haven't off. This is not representative of what we know Bolton can do. And there goes Oxford University going down the inside
What
of
a
Glasgow. A
move.
nice clean move, really well executed by the team from Oxford University. The shadow of Glasgow, you can see on the bottom of your screens there, it's not over yet for the team from Oxford. They've still got to defend this newly gained position from Glasgow. Glasgow cutting the grass and getting onto the apex there. Meanwhile, Bolton are having a right look. They've got a train of 3 coming through here. A mistake from one could spell disaster from all of them as they go through onto the right, heading towards the final corners of this map. Through goes Bolton on Glasgow, and wide goes Oxford University. They just about managed to hold on to it, but Glasgow 18 relegated down to 14.
Yeah, they dropped quite a few positions, and in the first race they gained a few positions, but I think it's just them finding their feet a bit into this series because there's some drivers that haven't had much experience, but they still got quite a few minutes to do so. And of course, we had quite a few pit stops since we last spoke. Cardiff, I believe, still yet to pit. I will
Cardiff
check.
are
Yeah,
in the
Cardiff
lead
still
at the
yet to
moment.
pit.
They haven't pitted. I just wonder whether Liam's trying to take a leaf out of Aaron's book, to which I'd say there is only one Aaron Farmer.
Oh God! But will they get the end of fuel?
Yeah, exactly. King's College London hunting down Hertfordshire 18, getting very close here. They've got their top 10. They want to go better. I think we're going to see a lot of KCL this year, Jess.
I think we are. They've been absolutely amazing so far in the first round of the season. Fair play to them. Good to see new teams up there as well. FRT doing pretty decent as well, and the Oxford B team. So I think those are the new teams that have caught my eye for this evening's entertainment.
Bolton, Oxford University's B team, and of course the University of Glasgow racing here. You've got Hertfordshire. Meanwhile, Cardiff have pitted. They've got a 4-second gap, 3-second gap, 2-second gap. They are going to be really close, and no, they.
Surely it's going to be a splash and dash. Yes, it is a splash and dash.
It is a splash and dash for Cardiff as they come out in third. Meanwhile, here's Hong Kong Polytechnic ahead of them, and they go through with the superior speed down the line. Cardiff
they were
cautious. Going, and they are now going to be dicing it out. Cardiff versus Hong Kong for third position. Can Cardiff make it 2 for 2 for the final podium position in this second race? Hong Kong have got something to say about it. Hong Kong will have fresh tyres because they pitted the tyres earlier, whereas Cardiff haven't. They've repeated their pit strategy yet again with 2.5 minutes or so to go. They're keeping Hong Kong locked in their sights, but I just don't think this car's got it in it to take that third position. They might have to settle for fourth.
Yeah, that's something they got to think about, of course. They got the gap. It's pretty much the same situation they had in the last race, apart from Cardiff's in fourth and Hong Kong's in third. So probably Aaron has given us a little bit of advice there. We've got one of the Victoria teams in 17th place. University of Welsh to take David up to 16th, Giles.
Really great start for the Welsh side, having started at the very back of the grid. I know that they've wanted higher, but it's a testament to the driving skill that team has in its ranks. They are able to do this alone. Meanwhile, Victoria, they're locking up just a bit, losing the back end of Welsh and St David. They're going away with that position. Meanwhile, here's Harriet Watt in 18th.
Yeah, good to see them in the top server, of course. They're struggling a little bit, but to be fair, they're still going to get some decent points out of all of this, even if they're in 18th, so they're doing a good job. And 30's, not that far behind.
No, very close indeed. And here's Victoria under pressure now from University of Hertfordshire's B team, and Leicester coming up on them, as are FSTN. Just seeing FSTN this far down the back of the grid. Oxford is an old dear.
Oh, Oxford A, DNF.
DNF for Tonelli and the Oxford University A team. Meanwhile, Hong Kong, KCL are looking quite good. Hong Kong have pulled away from Cardiff. That is Cardiff relegated to fourth position unless Hong Kong make a mistake now. The gap opened up to a second between the team from Hong Kong and the team from the Welsh capital.
This is looking very good for the likes of Southampton and Queen Mary in the Championship, because they've been 1 and 2 after all this. But look at the gap, Giles. The gap has come down to 9/10 per second between our top two.
This is interesting indeed, Jess. That is exactly right. 0.8 seconds between Queen Mary and Southampton. We can still have a race for the line. This could be interesting. Going through that final corner. Here comes the start-finish straight. They're about to cross the line to start what will be the final lap. There's 30 seconds, 25 seconds left of racing. This is the final lap. Do it for her, says the dashboard. Her doesn't matter to Queen Mary. Victory does. They go through now. They are going to rag this to the edge as they try and get past Southampton. A gap of 0.6 seconds separating the two top cars from that top podium position. There is not a lot separating them. Driver skill, they both pitted at the same time. Their cars relatively in the same state. So all it comes down to now is driver skill. Can Southampton cope under the pressure? Can Queen Mary find a way round, outbrake them, put the foot down quicker, harder, faster? There is not a lot to separate these two teams. This is really close. And are we seeing what could be a replication of the rest of the championship?
I think I'll be very impressed with those two. Very consistent. I wonder what Queen Mary are going to think in position. Would they want to go for the win, or would they want to settle for second place? Because they want to, but they don't want to take any risks. But
I don't think they've got it, Jess. I think Southampton have got it in the bag. I think Southampton are about to go 2 for 2 here at Formula Student Sim Racing Series, the inaugural round of the 24-25 championship. Southampton were beaten last year by Glasgow. They've got no such problems now. They've got Queen Mary behind them, but they're not fussed about it. The line's in sight. For the second time tonight, Southampton University Formula Student team take victory at Croft in the Mini Coopers, with Queen Mary coming in second. Hong Kong Polytechnic take a surprise third, and Cardiff have to settle for fourth place, with Aberdeen's got Scottish taking fifth.
What another great race. Great to see College Dublin and Bath up there. KCL again, another top 10 finish. And the Oxford B team doing a stellar job. But my team of the day, it's got to be our top two. Southampton for winning the both races. And Queen Mary for just being a massive improvement since last season. Of course, they did well. I believe they won the B final, I believe, last season. Or was it Queen's Belfast? I don't know. But they did well in the Williams eSports finals that we did. So it just shows that they're continuing where they left off in the final round.
They have something to prove, Southampton, and they are going to prove it for the rest of this season. I think Cardiff Racing saying, hello, Giles. Hello, Cardiff. Meanwhile, University of Leicester say number 48 is cooking. I think there were some audio problems when James popped up to tell us about the results in server 2. We do apologise for those. We'll hopefully be able to get you the results from James over in server 2 in a second. Someone saying someone forgot to turn off seasonal adjustments. That might explain why James's screen was showing it in the middle of winter.
It looked like it was snowing.
Meanwhile, awesome start to the season, KCL.
I agree.
Alexander Mossberg saying, King's College London, my boy Ethan, amazing performance. Let's go! There's some debate going on, but Queen Mary are over the moon with that win. And I think we're over the moon in the commentary box with some fantastic racing.
I can't wait to see what the rest of the season has to offer as well. I wonder if we'll see more improvements as the season goes on, and we've got a new format happening next time out in December, which should shape things up a bit maybe for tyre strategy, but looking forward to that. But I think we're set up for a really stellar season with the amount of quality teams on offer, some new teams up there that we won't expect to be up there. It just shows that if you have the passion and have the drive to improve, then it's going to be great.
I think we're in for an absolutely fantastic season of racing here for the Formula Student Series up until we get to Williams. Not to mention, of course, if this is what these teams can do with noughts and zeros and simulations, imagine what they can do with real cars. It's going to be a good year for Formula Students, so do stay with us. You can subscribe on the Formula Student YouTube channel. Make sure you're following Formula Student on Instagram, on the app formerly known as Twitter. I have to say that. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our handles are down below there, so do come and check us out as well. If you fancy dropping us a line, keeping us updated with the teams, you can get in touch with your social media reps. We'll have, hopefully, a chat with the winner of race 2 as soon as we can get him or her into the commentary box here, so do stay with us. Keep your comments coming in on YouTube. We love them. They're great to see. They're great to read. Meanwhile, Alexander Mosberg has said, looking forward to see King's College London start in the mid to front field. I can imagine we will get to that point sooner rather than later. Scottish says, Monty, I heard something about tartan trousers. I don't know whether the internet cafe has tartan trousers available, but you never know. I mean, currently he's sat in front of the opening credits for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air by the looks of things. So there's a
It looks beautiful though.
Will Smith in tartan, brought to you by Monty. Salvatore saying, much love to Southampton. You guys are killing it. So close.
Good sportsmanship.
GTV Archangel says, Queen Mary, baby. I have to do it like that because that's exactly how we spelt it. I think we might be able to get the results from second server for you later in the evening. Stay with us. We are just trying to hunt down the winner of race 2 for you. That is Miranda from Southampton. Mr. Miranda, Mrs. Miranda, they Miranda, however they identify. We'll get them for you as soon as we are able to. What I would say is that if the racing is that close throughout the rest of the season, it might be the best season we've had, because that was point.
That was really tight. And again, I was not expecting it for Croft. And we got Charlotte Broville coming up next time out. That's going to be entertaining. And one of my favourite tracks on there, Watkins Glen as well. But yeah, Watkins Glen is going to be amazing. And Imola, we had that at the Williams finals as well. That was quite good. But I believe, Giles, I hand it over to you to interview our winner.
Have we got sound on Mr. Miranda from Southampton? Have we got?
We've got the picture.
We have picture.
He hasn't actually joined our channel yet, so hang on. I'm just going to drag him in now because I've just seen he's logged in.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Hang on. There we go.
There we are. I can hear noise.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
Fantastic. Congratulations. 2 for 2 in round 1 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, picking up exactly where you left off last season and going one better. The practice over the summer must have been intense because you've absolutely dominated in that. What has been the strategy behind the scenes going into this for Southampton?
Yeah, I mean, we did take our joke this round. That's sort of part of the reason why we're up front. It's really the perfect start to the year. You can't ask much more than that. 2 wins from 2. Only thing is we did get pole in race 1, but other than that, maximum points. And I think what helps us there was our strategy that you saw in race 1 as well. We just didn't take tires at the stop. Saved about 7 seconds, and that allowed us track position. And it was a really difficult track to overtake. So that sort of kept us. We just tried to lead from the front basically.
And you did just that. Yeah, absolutely. The start was quite interesting because Hong Kong Polytechnic behind you had an absolutely blinding start and was almost 3 abreast with yourselves and Queen Mary into turn 1. That must have been a bit disconcerting behind the wheel and looking to your left, and all of a sudden there's 2 cars rather than 1.
Yeah, I didn't have the best start, but I just made sure to cover the inside and just sort of have the track position inside line. I thought I should be able to control the corner from there. And that was it. And then they had a little battle, I think, sort of in the first few laps, which allowed me to get a bit of a gap. I then did make a couple of mistakes just before my stop, which put Queen Mary back onto the back of me, which was stressful.
You did notice the gap closed up somewhat towards the end, and I did wonder what had happened there, because obviously we're looking all over the shop because there's racing and bumper-to-bumper action throughout the field, and relatively speaking, you dominated and it was very clean-cut, so those mistakes, something to learn from clearly, but nothing to really be disconcerted about, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, pole, race win, led every lap. Does it get much better than that?
I don't think it does. Going forward, what round are you most looking forward to? What track has got you most excited?
I'm quite looking forward to the next round. The Mazda's Charlotte Roval. That should be quite
Oh God, I am as well. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, I quite like Mazda's, and especially on the Roval. That should be great fun. Yeah, that one.
That will be fun indeed, and we can't wait for it. May I ask how your car is coming for the forthcoming Formula Student season? What powertrain are you planning on running?
We're definitely electric. But I don't think there's been too much work on actually building the car yet. We're still in sort of the design phase. But yeah.
That's absolutely excellent. Congratulations to you and the team. Pure dominance across the round, and I imagine this won't be the last time you or the other drivers from Southampton are here joining us in the commentary box after a race. Best of luck with the rest of the season. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
And now, from one guest to another, because we know it's not just one server here at Formula Student Sim Racing, we get you 2 servers worth of action. And James, you were having just as much fun, if not more fun, over in server 2. It sounded to me like it was incredibly dramatic. How did it pan out in the end?
It was an incredibly dramatic race, it has to be said. Some real surprises, it has to be mentioned, but unfortunately it has to be said, Staffordshire dominance could get boring because Staffordshire won again by 12 seconds.
Wow.
And got the fastest lap. And they led every lap of the race, so they got a grand slam, which
that's
is
intense. That's
impressive.
Michael Schumacher levels of domination.
And did I see 17 places gained from UCLM?
Yes, Universidad de Castilla-La Mancha. Muy bien, guys. Muy bien. Very good riding
Spanish
from you. I no hablo español.
That's some cracking pronunciation going on there, James.
Third place, we had Polytechnic of Warsaw. Well done there, guys, as well. Making up 8 positions. Manchester falling off a little bit near the end of the race, getting 4th position at the end. York B team, personally my favourite livery of every driver. In 5th, UPRA again, University of Portsmouth A team doing very well, gaining 15 positions. De Montfort University gaining 10, had a very well-rounded race there. Salford 8th. Glasgow Caledonian falling off a little bit, unfortunately, during the race, but still held in for 9th position. And riding out your top 10 is University of West of England, having gone up 5 positions. To cover a couple more as well. Unfortunately, I did mention that the Czech team, University of Prague, were doing well up into the top 5. Unfortunately, they finished down in 11th.
You jinxed him.
I did, but falling even further behind was UGRB.
Wow.
Again, following that mention of the commentator's curse, they were in, I believe, P4, P6 at the time, and they finished 18th.
What happened there?
I believe they had some problems during their pit stops, and some of their racing was a little bit rambunctious, shall we say? But yes, unfortunately, unfortunate for them, but overall, very good racing all round. Fantastic pace shown by every driver. But again, congratulations to Staffordshire again for that Grand Slam. That is a properly dominant performance. And again, Universidad de Castilla-La Mancha, I was not familiar with your game. Please keep showing us. Keep showing us what you can do, guys.
As a name to keep an eye out for, potentially joining us in Server 1. James, a pleasure as always. Thank you very much, and we look forward to catching up with you in December for the results over in the second server for round 2. Thank you. Monty, you're talking, but I can't hear you, mate.
No, you can't until I hit sound now, can you? Right, yeah.
There you go.
Hey!
That's all good. I tell you, one of these days we're actually going to get James's sound correct. We had no sound for him when he last joined. Then we had an echo there, so and apparently for Theo as well. Not quite sure what happened there, but this is what happens. Yeah,
apparently quite a few people from Southampton like the double echo from VO, so...
Well, of course, it gives them double the amount of exposure for Southampton, so would you expect?
Exactly.
No, so thank you for your patience tonight, guys. I have to say that I've had 24 hours to put the stream together because, long story short... yeah,
he had no internet.
I had no internet, so I had to go and find a place to go and do this whole stream tonight. So I'm in an internet cafe in the middle of Jersey at the moment. So a big thank you to Digital Jersey for putting me up at such short notice. Very nice furniture in here and decor, isn't it? So yeah. No.
West Philadelphia, born and raised. Sorry, I can't help myself. It's just right there. Come on.
Anyway,
is that all living colour?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll give you that.
You
anyway,
have some results.
I have results for us. So, shall we go and see who? I think we know anyway, but should we go and see who our overall winner of tonight is?
Make it sound like a medical exam. Let's find out.
Drum roll.
Right.
Well, it's obvious who is top. They won both races in Server 1.
Is it Glasgow?
Is it Glasgow?
Oh,
Very
Giles, they're
funny.
going to hate you for that.
No, it is the University of Southampton. Southampton are back, guys, with a vengeance. They want that title back after a couple of years out, and what a way to start. A triple-figure point
On a
haul
joker.
tonight. 103 points with a joker. They fully maximise that. Queen Mary University, however, I have to say, fair play, guys. The practice has been paying off. 91 points. There are runners-up with Cardiff University team 8th. They're 3rd on 82 points. College Dublin on 76 points. University of Hull A on 64. King's College, welcome to the series, guys. What a fantastic first race you guys have had. 62 points to come 6th overall, with Queen's University Belfast in 7th. Hong Kong Polytechnic 8th. They were quite impressive to watch, I have to say. So it's good to see that momentum they had at the end of last season. There's promising signs of it again. Bolton only 9th and Bath in 10th. Staffordshire, we didn't really see much of them, but obviously the domination.
They won both races in Server 2.
Exactly, and so that's why they're there in 11th with 51 points. Oxford B in 12th. Florence there in 13th. Glasgow in 14th, but to be fair, this is still better compared to last season. Remember, they only finished 22nd after the first race last season. This will be interesting to see if this is their bogey round or a sign of things to come. Remember, it's brand new drivers this season, so good start.
And they get a drop round, don't they? So if they've done horrible here, then they don't need to worry.
Exactly. Vigo 15th, York B in 16th, Aberdeen in 17th, Manchester 18th, Munster 19th, University of Basque Country in 20th. That's the B team. So this seems to be an evening for the B teams, guys.
It does.
That's Hertfordshire. This sounds a little bit low to me. Have I forgot? No, I have refreshed it. Yep, no, that's fair. So Hertfordshire in 21st, Portsmouth and Electric in 22nd.
Universidad de Castilla-La Mancha
in 23rd, Trinity St David 24th, Salford 25th, Glasgow Caledonian in 26th. Victoria A team in 27th, Hertfordshire B team in 28th, Prague in 29th, Leicester with fantastic skin in 30th.
Come on, Leicester.
Oxford A, unfortunately, 31st after that DNF in second race. Surrey in 32nd, Heriot Watt in 33rd, Warsaw in 34th, Napier in 35th, De Montfort, Cardiff, Turkish University. Sorry, guys, I can't remember how to pronounce your name, and I'm going to make sure I have this done by the second round. Glasgow B, and University of West England making an underwhelming return there in the 20th position.
Excited for UE, I must say. Really big fan of the UE team and their setup. So hopefully this is not a precedent for the team and they'll be able to recover from this. I must say to all teams, these are not where you'll finish if you don't enter the University Engineering Challenges properly. You need to focus on the engineering challenges because if you don't, you won't win. You will throw your race victories out the window because those engineering challenges are worth a race win. So do spend time and effort really going over those because not only do they play a massive part in the championship, but they will allow a significant learning train to occur. And you're going to get a great deal of skill out of that you wouldn't get from anywhere else because let's be honest, the stage in your academic lifetime, getting up close and personal to cars that aren't Formula Student cars is not always the easiest thing. So this is a great opportunity. Do focus on those engineering challenges and try and firm up your position within the standings. Without it, your races are only half the story. I think that's fair enough.
Couldn't have said that better myself, Giles, but yes, so that's what makes our series, that's its unique selling point. It's not just about the racing, it's about giving you guys a chance to do the engineering side, the data analysis. You know, we're all STEM students here, so it's giving you a chance to put that maths and science theory into practice in a virtual world, so then you can go and apply it in the real world once you get your jobs after graduating as well. Where else do you get a chance to do that from the comfort of your bedroom? Normally you have to go to a race
right
circuit,
here.
You're welcome.
This is the place. This is the place to come. So we'll be back in December. Before we go, I'm just going to get one word. I just want one name from each of you. I don't want any thinking about it. I just want one name, and we'll flash back to this in July when we're at Williams eSports. We'll click this, and we'll flash back to when we're at Williams eSports. Who is going to come into the final in the lead? I'm going to go first. Southampton.
I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna go Queen Mary.
I want Queen Mary. I think it's going to be Southampton.
Right. Okay. We'll clip that and we'll refer back to this in July next year. But for now,
I'm very bold. I'm sorry.
Pardon?
I'm very bold. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. Go for
So,
it.
so am I in a rather different way, but there we are. Anyway, I've been Giles, she's been Jess, he's been Monty, and we will catch you in December for round 2. But for now, this has been round 1 of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series. Thank you and good night.
Bye-bye.